said Owen Benjamin tried to poison my lasagna. That's how you're going to try and diss someone in a wheelchair? By saying that the wind blew them over? That's your slight jab at me, buddy? Nice try. Must be nice to try and make jokes like that. Found out about Owen Benjamin in The Unbearables. I can't remember exactly who told me about that. It might have been one of them who had reached out to me, actually. Long story short, in like March of 2018, I was looking to, of course, continue building the show, and I was looking for a group of networkers, kind of like-minded creative conservatives, and I was told about The Unbearables. I found out about Owen through the JRE podcast. To be honest, I wasn't really a big fan of him comedically. Like, I thought he was okay, but he wasn't, great. But I kind of liked what he was doing with the whole, anti-trans kids thing. That really spoke out to me. And in the beginning, The Unbearables seemed to be a great... Good evening, folks, and welcome to tonight's edition of the Whitfield Report. I am your host, Sam Whitfield, broadcasting live here from South Florida at NGC Studios, and I want to thank you for joining us tonight. We are starting a little bit early tonight. We usually start the show around 10 p.m. The reason why we're starting the show is because we are simulcasting with Versa Media, because we are covering the vaccine protests that happened at Penn State this week. That was big news on Reddit. And I was actually going to reach out to our guest to appear on my show, and then Sean, who hosts Versa Media, said, hey, we're having this guy on anyways, so why didn't you come on and simulcast this? So thank you, Sean, for having me on and allowing me to simulcast this. Apex Mayor may not join us later on in the program, but I want to thank you guys for, joining us. If you're tuning in on the Whitfield Report, I would encourage you guys to go subscribe over to Versa Media as well. And why don't we all introduce our guests? So, Avi, would you mind introducing yourself again?
Mandate rally as a counter-protester, and you can find all of my stuff at resistpennstate.com. All my social medias are linked there.
Awesome.
Alrighty.
Well, how about then we just start simply by, I'll give a very quick background on what's been happening, and then you can tell your story. So at Penn State, they're a Big Ten school, lots of people very popular, and they're the only Big Ten school, to my knowledge, that has not mandated the COVID vaccine.
No.
And there's many reasons you could give why, but they are the only ones, correct?
No,
I think there's a few others that don't.
Yeah. There's 14, technically there's 14 Big Ten schools. It doesn't make any sense, but Penn State and University of Iowa are the two biggest ones that don't have the mandates.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that on Wikipedia and it was confusing me that there's not
14,
10 Big Ten schools.
I know, it's odd. So it's actually, there's 5 other schools that don't have it.
Yeah. So you were there, and look, for full disclosure, we totally agree that Penn State should mandate the vaccine. I am of the opinion they shouldn't even mandate masks. They should mandate everything. Everybody should have their freedom back. But you were there, and this was supposed to be faculty and professors that were all butthurt for the second time. So this isn't the first time, this is the second time. They're all butthurt that Barron hasn't mandated the vaccine. So they were out there making some noise, and funny enough, Barron wasn't even there. So when they went up to air their grievances, he wasn't even there. So they were doing this. There was about 150-ish people, and there was a good size of counter protesters. And you're the guy in the orange vest. We'll link the videos in the description so people can watch it. But can you tell us just everything that went down?
Yeah, so I got there with the anticipation that that I'd be able to just counter protest, get my voice out there, and get my views out there for everyone to hear and see. And within the first 60 seconds, I was sprayed down with an unknown liquid. I haven't seen video of that yet, but that did happen. It could have been water, could have been piss. I don't know at this point. Members immediately started making it extremely difficult for me to move around freely, kind of boxing me in, creating physical blockades, blocking me on all three sides. And then it was about 10 to 15 minutes into it where I was holding my sign up, and then you saw that gentleman in the white t-shirt and the blue jeans rip it from me, and then appeared to get me with his shoulder or elbow, forearm in the nose, and give me a bloody nose.
Wow. So you said they... I'll just ask one quick question. You can go, Alex. Do you think they milkshaked you?
Say that again?
Do you think they milkshaked you? Because that was a thing Antifa used to do about a year ago, where they would just throw milkshakes at people.
No, I don't think I got a milkshake thrown at me.
Okay.
The Antifa, there was one person that was definitely with Antifa. The guy decked out in all black. He had the Staples star on his shoulders. He was not the person to, as far as I know, that physically attacked me. He was one of the people impeding my movement about the area, but he was not the assailant, as far as I know.
You can go, Alex.
No, I was going to say, do you know if any of the people that attacked you were actually faculty, or do you suspect any of them were, or do you think they're just students?
That's a great question. The problem with college is that it's not like, a high school, middle school, where like if you're 8 years old, then you're in 4th grade. If you're 15 years old, you're a sophomore. People can come and go to college at any point. I have no idea. I mean, if you're talking about, your stereotypical college-looking student, I mean, he didn't ring bells for me as a college student. There were people there that, you would only imagine would be on the news, like people who look like your textbook definition of a social justice warrior Karen that, I've never seen so far this week walking around campus, but existed at that rally. So maybe it's just because they've all happened to congregate there that there was just kind of that wow factor of who was there. But I do not know if it was a faculty member or just a random person. It could have been a random person, because the Antifa gentleman I can't imagine would go to Penn State.
You'd be surprised.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, what we can tell you, in 2017, right after Trump was sworn in, there were Antifa posters that went up in Willard Building to try and recruit people. It was like, they would say shit like, bash the fast, join your local Antifa, resist Trump, join your local Antifa. I have the pictures, so they had a presence then, and and that's why I was kind of like blown away when you mentioned Antifa to me in DMs, because they really, to our knowledge, didn't seem too active after that. But this is 3-4 years later, and they're showing back up, and the guy you're talking about does look like it. And what's interesting is, I don't know if you noticed it there, but when I was watching the videos, especially on Center Daily Times, you can tell he's with a group of people with like a pink mohawk and like some like yellow hair, and they all follow him around when he was going after near you. So I don't know if those people are Antifa, but I can definitely say they do look like your stereotypical Antifa.
I mean, my personal view of your stereotypical Antifa member, somebody decked out in all black with a white star somewhere. So there was only one person that fit that textbook description. Could there have been quote unquote undercover Antifa members? I mean, totally. This could have been absolutely coordinated. They could have said, "Hey, watch out for this counter protest that's going to be there and make his life as difficult as humanly possible." That's totally plausible. I can tell you, going into it, I knew absolutely nobody that was there.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if they're busing people. I know we've seen that a few times back in 2016 when they were protesting. I think it was one of Trump's sons.
It was Eric Trump. Remember that?
Yeah, they're busing people in, and it was a pretty open secret. I got yelled at for telling the media that, but everyone knows the fucking truth.
Wait, what was happening?
Eric Trump came to Penn State, and they were busing in people to protest.
What?
Yeah.
Who is busing in people? Who?
Various left-wing agitators, like left-wing groups.
SCIU, I think, was one of them. Like for America, the usual Soros-backed organizations.
Well,
That is ridiculous.
who was that club? The Next Gen. I bet they were doing that. Those
Yeah.
people are they still there at Penn State? Are they still a faction?
I don't know.
Those Next Gen
they are,
were
but
a bunch
they're
of
not as.
weaklings.
They are still there. They were doing voter reg when I was last there in 2020, and I know when people were campaigning for Trump this season or last season technically, they were there. They're still there, but they're oddly not as active.
Well, not until political season anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, the other thing that I thought was interesting when I was watching your protest was your sign was hilarious. Do you want to tell us what was on your sign?
Yeah. Look, the sign, it was designed, of course, this was to grab eyeballs, right? It was to get people focused on the message here. So it was a double-sided sign. The first side had memes. Well, the whole thing was a meme, but the first side had memes, mainly. So one of the memes was the "Govern Me Harder, Daddy" NPC with the mask and then the needles in him. Just to kind of preach to the absurdity that, like, please, I want you to force me to take needles. I want you to force me to wear a mask. Take a dildo and ram it up my ass. That type of crazy nonsense. So, and then the other side was. It was Alex Jones pointing a gun in a baked meme format. Shut the fuck up, liberal. So I mean, and I put that there because I knew that everyone there was gonna be. They identify as a liberal. If real liberals don't believe in this kind of garbage, but they identify and vote liberal. So I knew that would identify with them. And then the other side of the sign had more facts, on it. So the first one was the superhero choice meme, where he had to pick between Black Lives Matter and then ban 65% of Black New Yorkers from restaurants and work, and vaccine passport supporters all nervous because I even said, hey, how many of you guys support Black Lives Matter? And they were like, me. And I'm like, oh, so do you support the 65% that aren't gonna be able to have a job and eat after this? And it was all silent. So it just shows the hypocrisy. And then on the other side, I had a bunch of images from a bunch of different news outlets re-quoting Fauci saying, oh, we'll get back to normal by fall, by summer, by spring, by 2022. So it just goes to show that the goalpost is never ending and that this is going to be an endemic. It's not going to be a pandemic.
Yes.
No, I agree with that. But my sort of thing is, too, it's like these people... I saw this on the Penn State subreddit. They're a bunch of.
I'm already banned. I got banned from the Penn State subreddit because when I made a post, some of these fuckers started going all internet detective and found a 2-year-old clip of me saying the N-word. And they're like, "No, racist!" And I got permanently banned. So yeah,
everybody said the gamer word at one point.
Yeah, I fucking hate Reddit,
dude. It's a liberal, idiotic cesspool. I mean, it's literal cancer on the Penn State subreddit. The only subreddit with rational people is our no new normal.
I like the conspiracy one and some of the gun subreddits, but no, most of them are just pieces of shit. But those people, they were saying that it's authoritarian for Barron to not enforce a mask mandate, or not the mask mandate, the fucking vaccine mandate. It's like, how do you say that is authoritarian to not mandate something? Like, that is the most stupid fucking logic I've ever seen.
I saw a meme earlier today that I think really, answers this, because people are always saying, well, if you don't want to take the vaccine and they require it, then just leave, just go somewhere else. You have freedom of choice. And what I would tell to those people, and I would say, is that, if you're a woman, right, and let's say that you're in your last semester, you're a week away, you just need to pass all your classes, and then you'll get your degree. But you have your male professors come up to you and say, you know what, you're going to suck my cock right now, or I'm going to fail you. You have a choice at that point. You could suck his dick, or you can fail and then not complete the degree. And then you get into this territory where it's coercion. It's coercion. It is not freedom of choice. You are being coerced into doing something. It is not rational to say that you are truly being free in your decision making. I could say personally that, I'm a junior, so I'm already 2 years in. I already got 2 years worth of credits here. But, if I was looking for colleges, I mean, first thing right off the bat I'd be looking at is I'd be looking at the colleges and the political landscapes that they're in and seeing that if a vaccine mandate was likely, because I wouldn't want to have to deal with even the thought that that would be on the horizon. But now that I know that I'm in Penn State, the only thing that's holding Penn State back is the Republican legislature. Somebody needs to
Yep.
put pedal to the metal and fight to keep this away. So that's where I come in.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
well, I mean, to be fair, if the students were Alpha Delta Pi, then they probably would suck the dick. But anyway,
But you get my point, right? It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
freedom
yeah.
of choice. You're being coerced into doing something.
Yeah. No, you're right. And that's why we're doing the protests on Tuesday, to add some more pressure and to get people to make it socially acceptable to not wear a mask.
Avi, when did the initial protests happen? People in my chat are wondering that.
Yeah,
Wasn't
so
it like the 15th or something?
Oh, you mean the first one?
Yes.
Oh, the first one I want to say was the 13th. They did this before the students arrived, so I believe it was just faculty members that were there. And I saw that, and I was like, oh man, I really wish I could be there. But I'm from Jersey, so I'm a far ways away. So when I saw that they were doing another one, I was like, oh, this is the perfect opportunity to show up and spread the message, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and then they had they had the second one that he was at on Friday.
Yesterday.
Just a few days ago, yep. Just yesterday. And we're going to be doing one that's anti-mask mandate on Tuesday. So there's like 3 different protests going on. 2 of them have already happened. One's coming up. And I bet at ours on Tuesday we're going to get some resistance. And who knows, there might be more after that. Because I don't get... See, this is what gets me. And I'm going to say to the protests is that our campus is roughly, because there was a survey that measured this, and then of all students, and then there's the actual vaccination submitted number, and they're both 83%. 83% of students in a survey said they're fully vaccinated. 83% of on-campus students reported to the university their vaccination status and proved they're vaccinated. Why are they so butthurt that only 83% are vaccinated, which is much higher than the rest of the country?
They're
I'll tell you,
bitches.
No, it's because they have buyer's remorse, okay? Because they are, as I believe that some of them are genuinely stupid, and I believe that some of them realize that they were duped into getting the vaccine. They are looking at everything that's going on in terms of real news. I'm sure you guys saw the report that broke just yesterday that now their natural immunity is proven to be better than the Pfizer vaccine when it comes to the Delta variant. Huge breaking report out of Israel. There was reports out of Sweden who didn't do the lockdown approach. They did the herd immunity approach where everyone just, get it, and they fared way better. And then also, right, how about the fucking Taliban, right? How about Afghanistan? A 0.6% COVID vaccination rate. And I, for whatever reason, don't see Afghans dropping like flies.
To be fair, all the women over there wear fucking hijabs. It's not like they're,
Well, that was only recently that it started. That was only recently.
And I'm sure, compared to all the shit that's going on over there, I'm sure COVID's the least of their fucking worries. Right?
But the point is that you have people who are experiencing buyer's remorse, and they need to bring everyone down with them. There is no science to even the freaking CDC director. The vaccines can no longer prevent transmission, right? So at that point, what the hell is the point? And then you also had that Royal Navy ship that departed out of the UK, fully vaccinated crew, and yet cases still happened on board. So it just goes to show that the vaccines, unfortunately, don't really work. Masks don't work, and they never worked outdoors, which just adds insult to injury that, people wear masks outdoors. And then after, you see in the video, my face is like all bloody and shit, and these people keep getting close to me, knowing that I haven't taken the vaccine. The dude who assaulted me wasn't even wearing a mask. So there's absolutely no principle to be had on the other side.
You should have told him to socially distance the whole time. Like, yo, 6 feet, 6 feet.
No, you should have said I have AIDS. And they'll get the
they
fuck
might
right
like
away
that.
from you.
I feel like
that's what pisses me off. They're so fucking like pro-vaccine, man, and all this other bullshit, and so afraid of drugs. But they're the ones who are having all these fucking sex parties. They're all the liberal ones who think it's okay to go and like have sex with 20 dudes a night, but you have to go and wear the goddamn mask.
I have a question though. I have a question for you, Avi, and I need you to be as honest as you can, okay? And it's a very serious question, okay?
No.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how the 10 being the absolute worst, or no, 1 being the absolute worst. How ugly were the women at these protests?
Women in
Dude,
quotation marks.
Well,
Yes.
that's the thing. I mean, I don't think I spotted any identifiable trannies at the protest, but dude, all of these women were ugly as fuck. I mean, the most unfuckable people you could possibly
Yeah.
imagine all happened to be congregated at that single event.
Yeah.
Old people, Karens, the lesbian looking haircut, Ellen shit
Oh,
going
yeah.
on.
Oh
The
yeah.
goth ones, with the fucking, they
I
got
saw her.
a belly ring everywhere, tattoos out of the wazoo. So nobody that you.
So you remember, like, so we were at the when we were at the Sargon event. We were looking at all the protests. We had a shit ton of protesters there, and like one of them straight up looked like Andy Milonakis, right? And I was like, oh shit, man. Do they got a celebrity? I might want to get his autograph. They're like, no, that's a chick. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, if you don't know the
Yeah.
backstory on that, I used to be a chapter president for Turning Point on campus, and
that's sick, man.
yeah, it was a good time, and because I try to do controversial speaking events to push the boundaries and to get Penn State to be a bit more free speech. And we did one with YouTuber Sargon of Akkad and Hunter Avlone. And funny enough, Hunter started going far left after we brought him, so we broke him. But Sargon remains pretty solid. He's pro-Trump, pro-Brexit, and they lost their minds when we brought him because he made some edgy jokes back in the day and still does. But they got so just like up in arms. The college Dems made a statement condemning it. The university even condemned it. I mean, everybody was condemning it, and we did it, and all these protesters were outside, and they were just disgusting. I wish I had my shirt on that I have now from Milo that says, everybody who hates me is ugly. Because it's so true. It is so true. Everybody there was disgusting.
Yeah.
And all of us inside were normal-looking people.
And to be fair, this is the same university that brought a well-known domestic terrorist over with open arms.
Yeah, they brought Bill Ayers, who is literally like the godfather of Antifa, but who started the Weather Underground. He's kind of what started all these violent left-wing movements in modern America. And it's okay to bring him. It's okay, but you bring a guy that makes a few edgy jokes, can't have that.
Dude, I've already been condemned by members of the UPA student body.
Nice.
I actually, believe it or not, I am planning on running for student body president this spring.
Nice.
Dude, I don't give a fuck, man. I truly believe, I'm going to be running. I know you guys lean more towards the conservative end. I'm personally, I'm libertarian, anarcho-capitalist. That's kind of my mindset. And, I believe that I can reach enough students to get them off of this woke bullshit nonsense and vote me in, because I am so sick and tired of seeing these woke social justice warriors running the show. And I also found out that if you become president of the Penn State student body, you actually get a meeting with Governor Wolf. So, or the governor at the time, of Pennsylvania. So, God, I can't wait to sit down with that man.
Well, I can tell you too, we've been condemned by UPUA as well with the Sargon event. They have this whole meeting, and one of the guys calls Nazis.
We put it. Sean put it on fucking YouTube. They didn't even see it, and they condemned it.
Yeah, it's on this channel actually, so if you ever want to check it out,
send me a link.
It's on one of our playlists. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I mean, it was just, I have the protest footage I can send you too, but that's off YouTube for legal reasons. But it's amazing how just much of an echo chamber there are. There's one guy we know in there that's cool. I won't say his name on air, but I'll say it off air. But he's really cool. And he could help you out if you want to run for anything. He will be your best resource because, maybe you go for president, maybe go for something else. He can help you out either way, because that's something that we've been trying to do for the past couple of years, is get more people like you, like him, anybody just is rational, anybody that isn't insane, that's a little bit closer to the center,
I think the problem is that people who aren't insane don't actually run for spots because they don't believe it's worth it. And, or they fear for their safety. I mean, they fear that they're going to get injured in the process of it. And, those are real, legitimate fears. I can tell you firsthand. But, somebody needs to just fucking do it and speak for people. And, I could only imagine if I was to win student body president, I mean, it would be like a Trump moment. I mean, it would really be comparable to a Trump moment. But that's for later. That's for later.
Well, I'm glad you hear that you're still going to be fighting, because some people that get into your situation, honestly, like I've heard it before, they'll get a little bit, they'll get their feet wet. They might not get punched, but they'll just get their feet a little wet, and they realize it's too much, and they get out, for better or worse. But there's people like me and you that are just like, who cares? Let's go deeper. Let's keep going.
No, balls to the wall. So is everyone here a Penn State alum?
Except for Sam.
Yeah, except Sam.
I'm the resident Florida man here. I go to the University of South Florida, which isn't quite as bad as they're not quite as woke, but like even, I mean, it is Florida, so it is somewhat based, but it is a university.
Oh, it's very based.
So, I have had to fight my battles somewhat, but at least they don't mandate the jab.
Mask.
They're trying to mandate the masks, but we'll see how that goes. That's not going to go over too well if they try that here. So.
Well, guys and gals, me Muda Hard, you might be like, whoa, boy, Muda, another gaming.
Well, guess who we might have joining us? They'll add to the conversation, Sam.
Oh, really?
Yes. His name begins with a J.
The former co-host of the Whitfield
yes.
going way back.
So. I feel like
what the
I
fuck
have
is
to
going
get it
on?
out of my
Alex, what have you got going on in the background?
I don't know, man. My fucking
Yeah,
phone just started. No, my phone started making noises. I don't know what the fuck it was from.
The feds, man. They're on to us again.
I must have YouTube open or something. It was fucking weird. I started hearing that. I thought it was someone on the voice chat.
Yeah, me too. I was like, do we have a challenger approaching us that snuck in? But yeah, it's honestly, like you said, you're a junior. What's your experience been like being just not a leftist on campus for your first couple years?
Well, I actually came from a satellite campus. I came from Abington. So this is my first.
Where my girlfriend used to go.
So this is my first week at U Park, and also, a year and a half of my time at Abington was spent online. So in terms of a quote-unquote college experience, I pretty much had none of that. So I'm more or less a freshman, per se, with junior level credits. So I really have no experience, to speak on. I can only say, my first 4 days on campus, I just kind of, meandered to class, ate in the dining halls,
Yeah.
and, just kind of watch time go by. And I'm like, you know what? I need to get involved here. I need to do something. You know what? We're going to do some activism. And that's what happened.
That's kind of my story too. When I started on campus,
Dude, your first fucking year, man, you were involved with some shit.
No, I meant my first few. Sorry, I thought he meant first few days, not first years. But you're right.
Before that was before your first day. You were in summer and you were still getting into shit.
Well, no, well, the first couple weeks of summer semester, I was kind of meandering around, but I think it was the third week or the second week I joined the Trump Club. And then that's when shit started going down. Oh, it was so much fun, dude. It was probably the best. My senior year, my freshman year, the bookend of my time, they were probably my best years because they were both one was when I was during election season, the other was as turning point president in senior year, but freshman year was insane. Like, and Alex is right. Like, little bit, like, just at the very beginning, I was like only meandering around for like a little bit. Like, it didn't take long till I found the Penn State Trump Club on Reddit, DM'd them, got to the first meeting, met a few people, some interesting characters, and then on the first day of my fall semester, we came back to where the first College Republicans meeting was, and the big deal with that was they over the summer rigged the poll and voted to supposedly not endorse Trump. They're one of the few college Republican chapters that wouldn't do it. And So we came on like an army of MAGA hats, just flooded the freaking room and gave their president shit because he rigged the poll, because he hated Trump and he was a closeted Democrat running the college Republicans. And we
Dude,
were the
imagine if you think that they fucking rig elections in college.
Dude,
No, he fucking did. I was there for
it
that.
isn't the first one. Every year, the college Republicans, except maybe recently, rig their own elections for their e-board. It's insane. We were getting red pilled on election fraud before 2020.
That's crazy. Okay, do you guys think that the election was stolen from Trump?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't know if we can say that on YouTube.
Oh yeah, true.
Oh, oops.
Oh,
Forget that.
Borrowed. It was borrowed without permission.
It totally wasn't wink. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's okay. I've already made videos on this, and my channel is still standing for now.
Oh, we have a king that just joined us. We have another king.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes, we have a former friend of the well, still a friend, but former co-host of the Whitfield Report. That's
Yes, I gave him the admin
here with
privileges.
us. So
Wait, who is it? Is it Beta or Apex?
no,
It's our boy Jeff. Jeff, you can join now. I gave you the permission, or the roll.
Oh,
Roll.
boy.
Let's call him Discord. We'll have him join. I guess maybe he'll give a dissenting opinion. We'll see. Oh, I think.
Oh,
he's
we
in.
need to talk about that professor of his.
Yeah, we can talk about Sam later too. Hey Jeff, can you hear us?
Dude, it's the return of J-Ham back on the Whitfield Report.
Let's go.
Jeff, how are you doing?
Dude, I was laying in bed listening to this, and there's a damn echo chamber, and I was like, maybe I can disprove some of the things that you guys believe that all liberals on campus believe, such as
So wait,
80
before you speak, who is this guy? Just can we get a little introduction on?
Yeah, let's give him an
I
intro.
tweeted you actually, but yeah, somebody else introduced me.
So do you know about Social 19, Avi?
Yes, I'm taking that class. Sam Richards, that guy.
Yes,
Dude, you're
yes.
taking the class right now?
I'm taking the class right now. Yeah.
Dude, come say hi to me on Tuesday.
Dude, are you in the Oh, is there
Yeah,
only
I'm
one session?
Yeah, there's only one session.
All right,
I'm
then I'm in your
He's a
class.
DJ. He's
Yeah,
a
I'm the
DJ
guy
and
that's in
tech
the front.
Wait, are you the dude behind the scenes?
yeah. I'm one of the
Yes.
guys behind the scenes.
Dude, are you in the Twitch chat?
Not really. Not this
Okay.
semester, just because I've been trying to get everything set up, and every semester we have a brand new team that I have to teach, literally reteach the wheel to every semester.
Okay, because I was getting into a spat with some of the mods in the Twitch chat. I don't know if that was
Dude,
you.
are you the guy that was fucking chatting the snowflake next to your goddamn name?
Wait. Yeah, was I with the? Wait, say it again.
I don't know what the symbol was, but it looked like a snowflake or something. A star, maybe.
Star David.
Not a star. David. No, there was this one guy who was like, "Are you guys telling the professor who I am?"
Yeah,
Because
that was
he
me.
just
That
walked-
was me. That was
Yeah,
me.
dude, no, I'll tell you the truth. Sam doesn't know who's doing what on their devices, and we for sure don't know who the hell you are. So, like, even though I'm talking to you right now, if you come in on Tuesday and don't say shit to me, I'm not going to know who you are. Like, there's 750 people in that room. I'm not going to be able to tell who you are. Like, Dictator Phil took this class. I don't know who he is to this day. I don't know what you look like. I don't know if you're 6'5" or 4'3". I have no fucking idea because there's too many people. So, but yeah. I
Yeah.
work for Social 19
To give my. Oh, okay, you were gonna go. My bad.
I was just gonna say, Social 19. Back in the day, I was conservative podcaster with Sam, and then I'm not a conservative podcaster anymore. But I'm not really like a, hardcore SJW either. I like to think I see things in the middle. Like you guys are talking about how 84% of campus or undergrads are vaccinated. I don't think we need the vax mandate. I don't. I think if they did it, I mean, I have the fucking vaccine. I don't care. But I think if 84%, for the most part, we're fine. It'll change. It'll depend. In a couple of weeks or maybe a month, if the Delta variant comes through and we have huge soars of people, like numbers rising, then maybe we have to relook at that. But as of right now, it's fine. It's fine.
Well,
That's
at
all.
least you're sensible on that, because those professors out there outdoors wearing masks, demanding the mandate for the vaccine, it's idiotic. It just looks idiotic seeing that.
Yeah.
Dude, if I can comment on the professor here. So I mean, my first impression of the guy, the first class we literally spent debating why we refer to God as a he and not a she. I mean, in my opinion, that was a totally wasteful amount of brain energy. And then he was also mentioning some Fox News thing. I actually searched up the clip and the YouTube video in question, which the professor unlisted, so he doesn't even want it public. And I saw the fucking video, and he was certainly not taken out of context. He
Nah,
took a
dude.
black student and a
Okay.
white student, and he put them next to each other, and he made the white student be like that he's better because of his skin
Yeah,
color.
dude,
There's
okay.
no way
no,
around
no,
that.
no.
No.
Let's
There we
hold
go.
on. No.
So
hold on.
I can,
hold on.
I can. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Jeff, I'm sorry. No, it's good that you're on here because you can kind of give a little bit of context because we've been kind of saying some stuff because it's been in some of the news airwaves, but since you're
Right.
like here, you could give more context. So thank you for being on here. Anyway, by the way, sorry.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry about that.
So the reason that it's unlisted is just because Sam was getting, I mean, a shit ton of messages this entire summer, and voicemails and death threats and all of that. So they decided we're just going to take down. I don't know why he didn't take down all the videos like he said he was going to. Some of them are up. I think it's just because it's a boomer moment, and he just didn't realize the fact that he didn't privatize every video. And we were just going to wait until the beginning of the semester, and then we're going to re-put all the videos up. It's not that we're hiding the information. It's just for right now, we wanted to put all of that aside. And the video that you're talking about specifically, it is completely taken out of context because what we're talking about is if you have two people who are exactly the same, because my mom and I disagree on a lot of things, but one of the things we talk about is like this. So if you're applying for jobs and it's you and a person of a different race, if we are truly equal, then if everything is equal about the resume, then they should have the equal percentage of a chance to get the job. But what we find is that they don't. The white guy has with a white guy with a white guy without a criminal record, black guy without a criminal record. And what we see is even if the black dude with the criminal or without the criminal record, he's going to get less callbacks than the white dude with a criminal record. And it's just like, okay, that's a study that has been done over and over again, and I would actually like to see it redone now because I think it's a little outdated. But I want to see if that still holds. And if it does, then what he was saying is if you're going to walk across that stage, you're going to say, I, whomever I am, I have an equal shot at getting a job. But when we look at the numbers and we look at the studies that are done that account for all of this shit, same GPA, same level of university, same club, because people will be like, well, this person might have been a part of a club that got him this job and that kid wasn't a part. No, everything's the fucking same. And what we see is that time and time again, for some reason, and it's not trying to prove like there's distinct racism because that's not the point of the class. He's trying to point towards like, why is this happening? What's the cause of this? And maybe we can then talk about what we can do to fix that. Pretty much. That was the clip that was with the context. And that wasn't the one on Fox News. That was on Myth Information, the one on Fox News. Sam was talking about how crazy it is that Coca-Cola was doing their anti-white like diversity training. And he was making fun of the fact that they were saying white people have to be less arrogant and more empathetic and all this shit. And it was just like, that's not white people. That's just people. Like some people are going to be more empathetic and some people are going to be less empathetic. And in order for us to be the holistic community that we want to be, like where everyone is equal, then we should all be a little bit more empathetic. But it was just taken so far out of context of like him, practically Mark Stein was saying, Sam Richards is saying this stuff, and he was making fun of it. And that's why, and for Sam, I saw Sam put out a tweet and he was like, I can't wait to hear Sam's excuse for this because it was a joke or whatever. I'm like, Sam, you're the first person who on your podcast every fucking week you talk about how we can't censor comedy and we can't silence these people. And then a joke you don't like comes up and then it's just like, oh, fuck this dude. Like,
You're right. I do say that every week. Oh, wait, you're talking at a different Sam.
Yeah. No,
no, I'm talking about you, Sam.
The one thing
I'm talking about you. Go ahead.
But the one thing that I do respect, the one thing I do respect about Sam Richards is he's definitely like pro free speech. Like he's definitely a pro free speech guy. And you remember even you remember when he had the Sargon event, like when we had the Sargon event, he was saying I forget what it was, something like when freedom of speech is curtailed in society, it's almost always the people with the least amount of power that feel the greatest impact of those curtailed freedoms. Like, and he's right. I mean, it's a good point. And like, so he understands at least more than a lot of these like leftist professors do, like the total picture. Or maybe some of these other professors don't care, but at least like Sam Richards understands that part of the conversation. So I do respect him for that.
I mean, speaking from my experience in the class and then what I've seen online and after hearing what Jam has had to say, I vehemently disagree. I do believe he's woke. I do believe that the majority of what he said so far is total garbage. Hopefully, I'll be proven wrong at some point, but I still think very little of him.
You can't make that assumption after literally one class of him doing something that was edgy like that, and then the second class wasn't even his opinion. He was talking to people who've worked in Afghanistan, and then we talked to a person who's in Afghanistan still. So like, you haven't even sat through classes. Like, you have to, if you're going to go through a sociology class, because it's not an engineering class or it's not a mathematics class where this isn't relevant. Like, this all this shit is relevant. So give it some time. Think about it.
I'm gonna stick it out. I'm not gonna drop the course. I'm not gonna drop the course. I'm gonna stick it out. I'm gonna finish it out. I mean, I'm not even 100% sure what the hell I'm supposed to be currently learning in the course. I'm just kind of hearing stories. Like, I don't even know, like, what the hell is this course about? We've talked about God's gender in Afghanistan. Like, I don't understand.
Well, his Twitter handle, Sam's Twitter handle is I Unlearn. Remember that.
Hold on.
Yeah,
so
maybe a joke, but I see what you're coming from.
No, so
real quick,
go ahead.
Why is God's gender coming up in a race relations class?
Because it's not just race; it's race, ethnicity, culture. The course is actually titled incorrectly now. It's actually been updated, but the university takes fucking forever to do anything. So it also is a culture class. So the reason we were talking about God's gender is because we're talking about the way in which we view the world through a masculine lens. And there's many religions in the world that have God as a female. If you take DMT or have ever heard of anybody taking DMT, which is, in my humble opinion, what happens our afterlife is just a chemical reaction in our brain. But every single time anybody does a DMT trip, it's always a female. And it's like, yeah, because God burst everything. God is definitely a female. But the point is, it doesn't matter if it's a male or female, but we have this way in our culture of always seeing. What was that laugh about? Like,
well,
it's definitely a female.
Definitely a female.
I did drugs. That means it's a female.
Yeah, you know what? God is definitely a female.
Yeah, how about God is gender binary? Does he also have a belly ring too?
Look,
like gender binary? You mean gender non-binary?
Look.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong term.
Yeah,
wrong made-up term.
Right, man.
I used the wrong made-up term.
Non-made-up term? Non-binary is a made-up term?
Yeah, I'd think that fucking God would probably be transgender if you think about it, because isn't he supposed to be everything? You know,
can we not relive my first sociology class? Can we?
Why don't we just call him Z's, I, Zozum, I did smell cis scum?
Well, what I don't get about the DMT thing is that doesn't necessarily prove anything about God.
I mean, nothing can prove anything about God. It's all
God is energy. If we want to go down,
I'm more of a Zoroastrian than anything. So yeah, exactly.
What the hell is that?
It's
Zoroastrianism.
Yeah, what is that? I honestly don't know what it is.
It's some Middle Eastern bullshit.
Some Middle Eastern bullshit, right? It was a religion that started 1,500 years before Jesus, and for the most part, or Jesus came to Earth. Sorry. And for the most part, it was the first monotheistic religion in which they believed in dualism. So they believed in a perfect being that created everything, and they believe in a horrible, evil spirit that destroys everything. And if you are a Christian and you want to learn more about your religion, highly recommend reading the Bible in a way that you don't interpret things the way that you want to, and instead read it chronologically.
Is that the whole fucking point of a religion, though? That kind of the whole point of a religion is that you interpret things the way they're meant to be interpreted. Like I don't sit and ponder Hanukkah and I'm like, wait, why is it this holiday 11 nights instead of 8? Like it's just fucking 8 nights. Like that's all there is to it.
That's a stupid ass argument, but okay. And then we're going to so it pretty much is just the basis of all of religion, because if you look at how Judaism transformed after the 550 BCE or BC. Sorry, I didn't mean to trigger anybody. Then you'll see how the religion really impacted, because before, Jews didn't believe in any type of afterlife, not until after 550, when Zoroastrianism came in and they had, a heaven and a hell. So, I mean, it was just very influential, and so I believe in, God as a spirit and a perfect being, but I don't believe in all the other bullshit.
God is a woman. Okay, God is a woman,
Sure.
and and I say that because no one can be this big of a cunt to the people of the world. Okay, only a woman can be that big of a cunt.
Hey, Jam, I got a question. Do you know about because this was the whole point of this session right here. I'm just curious if you're looped in on it. Jam, are you aware of what happened Friday regarding me?
Yeah, dude, I was tweeting at you. I tweeted a shit ton at you this morning.
Wait, what's your Twitter handle?
Propaganda PhD.
Ah,
I know his
Nice.
ass fucking blocked me.
Who did I block?
Blocked my Twitter account. I don't even know ever talking to you, but apparently I'm blocked.
I
So
don't-
there's
Wait. I don't know who's talking to me. My phone is in my pocket. Who is this?
This is Alex that was talking.
Oh, maybe you said
I'm
something.
Sean,
really
but
fucking
that
stupid.
was Alex talking.
I can't find it. What the hell is it?
Propaganda PhD.
Follow him.
Prop?
Well, that's a fair name for Sam's class. Though.
Follow him, folks.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I found it. Oh, that's you. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember too. So, do you think that what I did, Sam Richards would advocate for the beating of me, or like, what do you think his view on that would be?
So I'm not going to talk as a spokesperson for Sam Richards. You'd have to ask him directly because I'm not him.
Okay,
I know
fair
that
enough.
personally. I don't support the beating of you. I also wouldn't have wanted a person in a counter protest talking about vaccines and mask mandates to be walking around throughout a crowd without a mask on, without being vaccinated, and yell. I don't know if you were actually yelling because the videos suck, but I assume you were talking and speaking in front of this group of this crowd of people. And especially with the Delta variant, I mean, vaccines aren't 100% effective. Condoms aren't
It's not
either.
going to kill anyone.
Oh my god.
mean-
that's so stupid. Oh, so it's okay to go and beat him then?
So wait, Jam,
I
you
just said
believe
it
that the
wasn't
science
okay.
supports wearing masks outdoors? You believe that?
Okay.
I don't know how deep down the rabbit hole we want to get with this. So,
No,
like,
so again, I don't think it's a problem of if you had a mask on or not. I think it was the fact that you were. Again, I don't support you getting punched or beaten up or anything. Again, the videotapes I've seen, it didn't. The person seemed as though they pushed your sign down and maybe the sign hit you. I don't know. I wasn't there. Literally, I saw like 3 videos, so I could be completely wrong. By the way, I would 100% contact the university because there are a shit ton of cameras on all
yeah,
names.
I've already put in the Pennsylvania right to know shit. That'll all eventually come through.
Cool.
Good.
Yeah, because it's public university. You have access to that shit.
If I'm interpreting what you're saying correct, Jeff, is what you're saying is that since he was being a little provocative to them, that it's like, not that he deserved what happened to him, but he kind of was asking for it in a way. Is that what you're trying to say?
I wouldn't say asking. I wouldn't.
I'm not trying to put words in. I'm just trying to clarify.
I would say that unacceptable is the reaction that they gave you. However, as human beings are imperfect, I understand or can see why they may have reacted the way they did. Again, I don't support it anyway, but if you wanted to counter protest, just fucking stand in the back with your signs. Like, cool. Like, your voice is being heard in that moment. And again, I only know how many people were there. It looked to me like there were 20 people. 50?
Yeah,
maybe?
they're around 100-ish.
Yeah, like that 16-year-old chick was begging for it, right? She shouldn't have drank that spiked Pepsi, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm fucking with you.
No, I know.
Yeah, I
you
mean, my attitude is that, you know, when we were talking before Jam came in, is that like when you guys had the turning point chapter and you had the Sargon come and shit like that was like, you know, a booked event. There was security. Like if you wanted to protest, you had to be outdoors. There was a secured perimeter. When I went there, I looked. I looked for auxiliary police. I looked for sworn Leos. I looked for a perimeter, and I saw none of that. And I actually emailed the Office of Student Conduct prior to this happening. I was like, yo, can you clarify like your protest policies? And they were basically like, look, as long as you're in a group under 10, if you're not a recognized university org, you can go wherever, whenever, and you just can't use a megaphone unless it's after 5 o'clock. So I went, and I didn't see any, fucking cops or anything like that. So I was like, fuck it. So, I'm going to go in the crowd. And
yeah, there's a rule I like to live by. It's called D-bad. Don't be a dick. Even though something isn't against the rules, doesn't mean you should necessarily do it. So, I mean, no, you totally did the right thing, but, like...
Disagree.
He was being a dick then? What? How the fuck is he being a dick? The people hating him are the dicks.
It's a figure of fucking speech, okay? It's not like he's actually being a dick, but just, even though something's not against the rules, you don't have to do it. Like, and you were... From the videos, again, I saw, and I could be completely wrong, but it looked like you were going in and out of the groups of people. And it's
okay. So you know why? Did you see the people constantly following, pressing their bodies up against me, trying to box me in and like keep me in a closed, confined space? Dude, I was low key worried that like
towards Old Main Lawn.
Dude, they were following me everywhere. Everywhere I went. I was just trying to get some breathing room.
You're trying to social distance, I see.
I wasn't trying to social distance. Dude, they weren't trying to social distance. They wanted to be on top of me.
They could have killed you, Avi.
Yeah.
They were a threat to your
They're
life.
the
To be
equivalent
fair-
of like a Barcelona football player that are fucking diving.
Isn't that kind of a bit ironic, though? These people are protesting for these vaccines and shit, and they
Yeah,
aren't using
absolutely,
social
absolutely.
distancing.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
should have
it's
told him
kinda
6 feet, bro. 6 feet. Push
I
me
thought
up,
it was
get back.
interesting. The guy who ripped my poster and gave me the bloody nose, even after I was bleeding out of my nose, he was still like right in front of me, and I could see the blood getting on his shirt as I was talking. And I told him, I'm like, dude, I'm getting blood on your shirt. Like, do you want to like back? And he just kept. He was still there. Like, he was totally unfazed, and he even wore a fucking mask. So like, there's no principled, reasoning with these.
Do you have footage of you getting assaulted?
Yes.
I'll send it to you, Sam.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I have 2 videos of the event. So you said you
Yeah.
had 3, so you have one more video than I did. But the
Maybe I saw 3. I don't fucking remember.
there's a 17-second video that shows the build up to it. When the guy takes my poster, you see the backswing of the forearm hit me in the face, and that's what I believe gave me the bloody nose.
Sam, I just sent to you on Twitter right now.
Yeah, so I'll just like I'm always going to condemn violence for that. So like I don't ever support that, but yeah, just
Well, at least you're consistent on that, because some people that I met aren't, and they literally think, oh, you're a Nazi because you wear a MAGA hat, so therefore you should be punched. It's justified. So,
no, I mean
yeah, I appreciate that.
Because if you ever say that somebody who wears a MAGA hat is a fascist, then you obviously don't know what a fucking fascist is. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and that's the thing with these people. Like, the Sargon event is the epitome of this. When you try talking to these people, and I've learned years ago that you just can't reason with them, so just have fun with them and not take it seriously or take it too personally, because I mean, I hate to be blunt about this, but they usually are mentally ill people that have some issue, and it becomes a revenge of the nerd scenario. And I'm not saying everybody on the left's like that, but I'm talking about these protesters that are aggressive, they're in your face, that are out there. And then, I mean, you see these people, and it's like, I feel bad for them at a certain point, because I'm like, they could be living a much happier, better life, but I can tell these are not happy people. They have something up their ass, they have something in their head, and this is how they're coping with it, or dealing with it. It's the best kind of explanation I can come up with.
Now, I would
To be fair,
I would actually, I was gonna say I would disagree with that, and the reason why is because everything you just said about the left is exactly what they think about us. Whenever we go protest, they think that we're loathsome, depressing, idiotic human beings. So I mean, it's really an opinion that you can't really prove
I
it.
disagree, because there's a big difference between when they protest and when we protest. Is when and I'm talking about the cases like with you and with I'll say Trump rallies, I'll use as an example, and the Sargon thing, is mostly the right is peaceful when they protest, mostly. The left, yes, they have a lot of peaceful protesters, but they have Black Lives Matter, they have Antifa that destroys cities. We don't do that. We don't destroy cities.
Yeah,
January
that was one
one
time.
event. That was one
And
time.
compare that,
And that was and they
compare
were
that to the
and
all
they
the
were
Black
federal
Lives Matter.
informants.
That was America's 9/11. AOC thought she was gonna get raped at the Capitol despite her not being there, guys.
And
She must have gotten the tip from the feds that they were setting that whole thing
And,
up. But you
um,
know,
Yeah, and what
Just
did
from
they
the
do?
feds,
How many
everybody knew
buildings
that
did they
January
burn down
6th
with
was
that?
gonna happen.
Like
Yeah.
January 6th was a fucking joke.
yeah, no.
Dude,
and
I mean,
look,
if you
I-
look at the damages done by Black Lives Matter and the damages done on January 6th, I'd have to look up the numbers again. But I mean,
And in the words of Joe Biden, that was 4 to 5 days ago.
yeah. Well, my point being though is that they tend to go more extreme. And I've tried talking to these people that are at the front of these protests. Again, it's not all of them, but the ones that are the crazy ones. Look, they have like purple hair. They're usually obese. There's always something that, and look, I'm bringing that up not to be mean to them, but the right will mock them for this. And there is that stereotypical SJW image for a reason. And that's what I'm saying is these are people that were probably bullied in school when they were younger. And now they kind of think, oh shit, who's the guy that bullied me in school? It was a straight white male jock that was good looking, had a girlfriend.
Chad.
He's the problem. Yeah, the Chad. And so this is where I think it's revenge of the nerds.
Well,
They want to get back at those people.
it's really
the-
funny
you
because you guys
think
are
the
talking about
the-
the fact that people
the
on
other
people on the right are demonizing, or sorry, the people on the left always demonize the people on the right for being low bar scumbags, and then literally, you guys a moment ago were talking about the fact that you could transfer AIDS to fucking air, and people who are like purple hair and yellow hair and stuff. And it's like you
Well, am I
literally doing the
wrong?
same exact fucking thing.
Well, that's what
I mean,
I'm
you're
not
not
saying
wrong,
it's
but
all
you're
of them,
doing
but I'm
the
not
same exact
wrong.
fucking thing.
Well, look, I in 2020, I was on the Trump campaign. I got to see every face of the right. It's
Yeah, they
I
have their
know
issues
just
too.
because
they
just
have their
because they-
issues.
You
Just
get your
because they're
fucking
homophobic
boomers
abuse, okay.
and
Yeah,
your
we have our
shit.
Q-tards, okay? So, you know, we have
No, Jesus, Q.
yeah. Don't get me started on Q. I'll probably get more triggered than you.
Probably.
It pisses me off, but because I get these people like when I was on the campaign, this one chick I was talking to on the phone, I was like, you know, hey, you want to volunteer? She's like, I don't know, and I'm like, you know, it'd be a fun time, and you could win some hearts and minds and do something bigger and make a big impact on the world. And she's like, nah, I don't know, but you know, I really like some of the stuff I see on the internet. Like, have you seen the latest Q drop? And I was like, in hell. And I had to sit there for 15 minutes of her explaining to me how Hillary Clinton was actually
Going to prison.
yes, that she was actually going to go to prison, and that even if Trump lost, that he would still be president. And I was like, ma'am, I hope you have a nice day. I'm gonna. My boss is calling me. I'll
Sean,
see you later.
Sean, that's nothing. There are a few QAnon people in my neighborhood still. So okay, so I'm not really pro jab, but my neighbor takes this to a whole new level where he's like the vaccine is actually, if you take it, your DNA is going to be overwritten, and then extraterrestrials are going to be able to overwrite your DNA, and they're going to take over. And I'm like, oh, so you mean Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Yeah, I saw. Yeah, that movie's been out for 40 years. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, it is true. There are crazies on both sides. Any side, any group is going to have its crazies. Trust me. Even in Turning Point, mostly cool people when I was running it, but we had some crazies, and we had to deal with them. But there's different types of crazies in these groups, and that's why I'm saying that,
Charlie
like,
Kirk.
yeah. Don't get me started on Charlie. I don't know if I've updated you on that, Jeff, but I hate Charlie big time now.
Oh, thank fuck. Okay, so actually, I wanted to tell this earlier because one of the last things I thought before entering the call, I think I told you this before, and Sam obviously knows this, but I actually was going to start the Turning Point chapter at Penn State.
I didn't know that, yeah.
I literally had like the giant box of like their posters and shit, and I was like prepared to go to the university and say, hey, we want to start this club, but because of personal reasons with Charlie Kirk being a dickhead to a friend of mine, I dropped it because fuck him. So thank you that you hate Charlie Kirk, because he is
He's a sociopathic asshole.
Dude,
Allegedly.
That event when he came to Penn State,
Oh.
that really changed. That changed my opinion. Because I mean, I didn't
Changed
really
my
see
mind.
much. Yeah, pretty much. No, I mean, I didn't see much. I didn't see much of Charlie Kirk, but then when I actually saw him, it was like he was kind of being a dick to the crowd, and I'm like, what
He
the
started
fuck?
berating a Trump supporter.
Yeah, and it was like,
It was
What do you
bad
guys think about
optics.
Candace Owens? What do you think about her?
She's a grifter.
She's good looking.
Yo, she's
Probably-
hot. She's fucking hot,
I
yo.
would disagree.
She probably fucked Charlie allegedly.
She's a
She's cheating on her
know.
husband with Charlie. I wouldn't, you know.
Allegedly,
she's
I've
a
been told
plant.
she did.
I don't. Come on, no way. No, I'm fucking around. There's no way.
Nah,
she did
man,
that.
he's a conservative. He has to be a virgin until he gets married.
wait.
Dude,
Yeah,
don't
we
get
got-
me started on those chicks. Oh man.
the
Oh,
trad-
the trad thoughts.
Yeah, trad thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, I will
Yeah,
tell you
the-
this, Jeff. This is a little insider scoop. I've given it to these guys, but I can tell you too. When we did the Sargon event, so we invited on my own. I invited Sargon of Akkad and Hunter Avalone, and I reached out to them. I told my field rep we were doing it, and I was saying, because with Turning Point, you have to get approval for all your speakers. And I get why they do it, but it is the system they have. And so I was like, hey, I sent the form in. I haven't heard back. You know, it's getting really close. Are they gonna approve of them or not? And he's like, oh, I'm asking. We'll get to it. They should tell you soon. And so Sargon needed to get like his flights booked like ASAP. So I already told this guy like, okay, just book it. We'll do it. It'll be fine. And we booked his flight, and then we were doing all the paperwork. And then my field rep calls me, and he's like, hey, I don't know how to break this to you, but the Turning Point's cool with Hunter, but they
course
don't
they are.
want you. Yeah, it's ironic now. They're like, but they don't know who this Sargon of Akkad guy is, so they don't want you to bring him. And I'm like, bullshit. They know who he is. He's got 1 million subscribers. Everybody in these arenas knows everybody. And he's like, and he was just the messenger, but I was kind of telling him what I thought. And he's like, yeah, they want us to bring one of their people, so you do what you can. I was like, well, good news is it's too late. Already signed contracts, and they're coming, so deal with it.
And what happened? What happened? What happened?
Well,
Okay.
Turning Point was initially kind of like they didn't want it to happen, but they came, they did it, and then since the event was a success, we packed the room with 200 people and had some protesters that looked idiotic. They were okay with it then. They're like, "Oh, this is good." And that was the moment I started to really. I had my suspicions before, but that was the moment I started changing with them. I'm like, okay, you guys are free speech. You're pro free speech and all that, but you won't let us bring Sargon, who's literally, like, he said edgy stuff. He is still not the edgiest I could even think of bringing. I mean,
What does
he's
it have
great.
to do with an affair between Candace and Charlie?
Oh no, that's a separate. No, that.
Oh
that's
man,
not
we
going
can dive into those can worms.
Are we gonna
next.
go into that? Or are we gonna
We
do that off
could.
air?
Okay. Hold
We'll do
on.
that
Is there
off air.
actually any? All right, fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Or were you gonna say, was there any evidence? What you want? You want to fucking?
No, like you
Check-
guys just
check.
like. I mean, if it's
you
just
want a
fucking
Snapchat
rumor,
Video? What the
if
hell?
it's
I'll
just
tell you this.
rumors,
I'll tell you this: it's good. It's a good source.
We can
It's
talk
actually a
about
good
that.
source.
Yeah, we can talk about that
I
after.
know a guy that
Well,
knows a
that
guy.
knows a
Don't worry
guy.
Well,
about it.
Well, Sean,
But the more my story is, Jeff, that that was the moment I started changing on them. And I do think the students are good people. The boots on the ground are good people. But once you get to the higher ups is when it's awful. The chapters are great. The nationals are shit.
Sean, it is hilarious to me that they said they had no idea who
Oh
who
my
Sargon
God.
was, because no, they tried the same shit with me when
I bet.
when they banned Brandy Love from the
From SAS.
from SAS, and they were like, well, we know that she's a conservative porn star, but we've never seen any of her
bullshit.
we've never seen any of her videos at all.
Bullshit.
So.
Well, so they do the same thing with Nick. They're like, we don't know who Nick Fuentes is. Is he that internet troll? It's like, Charlie, you know who he is. He's trolling you like right and left. If you like it or not, you know who he is.
Probably sounded like a cease and desist a few times.
Yeah.
Well, he's banned him from a bunch of shit, so he knows.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, I'm not trying to, again, rag on any of the kids in Turning Point, the students, because most of them are just your normal, typical Trump supporters. They're perfectly reasonable people, but it's like this select few that hold the positions of power that are just awful. And I don't like punching right, don't get me wrong, but I feel like more than ever I have to punch right to get our side to do better so that we can actually get shit done.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree with
Yeah.
you.
I mean, a lot of these guys up top are like, you know, they're just doing this shit to like become relevant. Like it's not. It's more of a chasing relevancy more than actually.
It's a very
doing
ego
the
thing
shit that
too.
you talk about too.
Yeah, yeah, it's very ego driven, and like I know, like I can't talk about this, but because if I signed an NDA, but I can say that I've also learned things in other places. I'll say that about other political spaces and arenas. But it's a common trend, but there's still some good people that do try to work their way up, and there are some people that start off normal, and then once they start climbing these ladders, they go insane.
Well, it's not even just a political world though. Like the fucking
Sure.
corpo world's just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing anywhere. I mean, basically, you get like a little bit of fame, and then some people just they go crazy. Some people can handle it, others can't, and that just seems to be the way things have gone for you know, since the beginning of time, I guess.
Well, I think too, everybody changes when they get a little, when their life changes, to put it very simply. But when it changes to that degree, it's gonna do something to you. But it depends on your personality and how you can deal with it. I mean, I know I have my issues. I know everybody has their issues, but there's like a lot of people too that become famous if it's a rock star, an actor too. They tend to be very messy and complicated people. And the most talented ones especially. So it's a complicated thing. I'm gonna sound like Sam Richards here, but it's a bit nuanced, you know.
Sonny,
So you gotta kind of, take the good, and if as long as it outweighs the bad, and you can kind of deal with the bad, like that's why trying to be
80-20
too
rule.
hard on some people. Exactly.
80-20 rule.
Here's a hot take: sociology is a
Ooh.
scam.
Coming
Yeah,
in hot.
everybody is equal in society. It's a scam. It's like, okay.
Well, how can you actually really prove anything? It's all it's like seeing the end result and like trying to go and hypothesize why. Okay, black people aren't getting hired for this job, so it must be because of X. That's sort of what it seems to me. And I've taken sociology class, not with Sam, but I've taken other ones.
Yeah, it does seem like that. And then, I mean, if you look into the research, and the number one thing I'll tell you about research, because I have to read a shit ton of it for grad school, but if you're going to read the abstract, at least read the methodology, because they'll tell you the biases that are going to exist in the study. So, like, if you don't do that, then you're going to look at this, you'll be like, that's bias. And it's like, their overall conclusion is based with that bias in mind, like trying to compensate for it. So, and again, the entire thing about sociology is the fact that we have to look at society, we have to see, okay, what's happening, and then we have to go in and then try. It's the same thing with science. It's like, okay, so we see this and we have to try and prove it, and the way that we try and prove it is by doing studies, and sometimes it proves the same way that we thought the hypothesis is correct, and sometimes it's not, and so we have to look at why is it or why is it not.
Well,
Hey,
aren't they having a
Jim, do you
replication crisis with the whole social sciences field too?
What?
Don't they have a replication crisis with trying to replicate a lot of these a lot of these studies?
Most of the replication issues is just because of funding. At least that's what it seems to me.
Jim, do you get paid to do the work in sociology, or like, are you a graduate student? Like, why do you do it?
So I'm an employee of World in Conversation, and Sam is the director of development. So part of that world intersects with Social 19. So part of my job is with 119, and I'm taking grad classes on the side to, I guess, further my education. Although, it's
I have
fucking
actually a World in Conversation story I can tell you real quick. That
Yeah, and then I have to go because I'm in trouble.
Okay, no problem. Well, in one of them, and I wrote it, I think I submitted this in like the survey because it kind of took away from the point of it. Even though I like the idea of it, don't get me wrong. Like I think it's good, free speech, open conversation. But one girl, when I was talking about how there are rich areas and poor areas, and I referred to the poor areas as slum, and she's like, "We don't use that word here." And I was like, "What? I can't say that." She's like, "No, we use a better word." I'm like, I didn't say it's supposed to be like ghetto shithole. Like seriously, like what do you want me to say?
That's a problem.
Well,
for students.
that was a
That's
little
the problem
weird.
with working with undergraduate students is the fact that we can train them as much as we can, and then of course they're going to have their biases pop in. But the idea of having
Yeah.
2 facilitators is that it knocks itself out, but it doesn't always happen that way. It's a flawed system, but the
Yeah.
overall point, again, I agree with you. Like open conversations. Before I go, I do want to say the reason that my Twitter name is propaganda is a play on words because people say I'm, a propagandist. But it's actually, if you look at it, prop is all in caps because, aviation is much cooler and I want to spread the word of aviation, which means
Nice.
that Sam Whitfield, I might be coming down towards your area within the next year or so I'm going to have to stop by.
You better. I'm going to hold you to that. So
How far is Lake Wales?
An
hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah, about an hour and a half from where I'm at. So,
yeah, I could probably fly there. That would take me fucking 3 hours.
Dude, I literally live right by the Sarasota airport. So,
Well, that's a restricted airspace, and I'd have to talk to the tower first. But make that work.
Hey, real quick before you go, you need to go and tell Sam to do a fucking lesson on Christian, because I'd love to go and see that shit.
On what?
On Christian.
Yes.
Christian
Weston Chandler.
Okay, I'll tell him that. It's interesting to know. I don't know who that is or anything, but
There's a 59-part YouTube documentary.
He fucked his mom.
People on YouTube just because you can get into rabbit holes. Like I'm about to trigger all of you. I watched Vosh for way too long. And I was like, yeah, Vosh. And then I listened to a couple of his takes on some of his other points. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
So he is a communist, so yeah, there will be some takes that are a bit out there.
I mean, to say communist is a bit excessive. Definitely a socialist.
Well, he identifies as a Marxist.
He identifies as a social democrat or some shit like that.
I thought it was Marxist, but maybe he's changed that.
I mean, he probably pulls a lot from Marx, but it's for the most part, the main difference I see is communism, of course, is the ownership by 100% by the government, whereas socialism is workers own the means of production. So,
well, I thought true communism had no government.
That's definitely not true.
Anarchy.
In the Communist Manifesto.
I mean, in theory, it's all good, but in practice, it's usually
I wouldn't even say that.
The socialist is just basically like a thinly veiled version of communism in practice. Just because it doesn't really count the human element. Like usually the people that are in charge of these socialist communist countries, they tend to like power and they tend to keep it, and there's no real check to their power. So it's like, I mean, like or hate the United States, at least if it's run properly, there's a universal checks and balances.
Yeah.
So I mean, with most of these most of these socialist and communist society, there's no real genuine checks and balances for the people that are in power. So it's like, I don't know. There's pros, cons, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to.
Well, we know you have to go, Jeff, but could you quickly plug any places you want people to find you once again?
Yeah, no. You got
Okay.
my Twitter. It's fine. I will say if there's ever another, I know that you said maybe on Tuesday. What time is the protest on Tuesday?
Tuesday at noon, Old Main.
Okay, I'll see if I can show up. I mean,
Let's
Pond is
go.
right behind it. And I would say that if there's any other future protests and you want a person with the camera, I'll be there.
Jeff, I'd love to have you on for another one-on-one show at some point too.
Yeah, I want to have a conversation with just you, me, Phil, and Sean, because I mean, I know Sean, but I don't know who Phil is really.
But you're the one who introduced me to Phil, and that's how I know Sean.
Well,
so
yeah, I know that because of Twitter and stuff. But like I said, I don't really know Phil. Like I just know his Twitter picture and the fact that he was in the military. That's about all I know. Like when you were tweeting a little while ago, and you were like, "Do you even know me?" Like, no, dude, I don't know who you are.
It'll be an interesting conversation, that's for sure. So
Yeah, and I may need of some camera work services in October, so I'll keep you posted on that.
Yeah, for sure. If I would say if you want to get 100 Thomas, look for Tuesday nights because Thursday there's a class reactors. But if I can keep the cameras up, I'm sure I can talk Sam into.
We'll be doing
Some-
Wednesdays. That's unfortunately the day we had to pick.
Maybe it could work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So see you guys and punch a fascist. Just kidding. Kind of. Not really.
Well, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
I just don't know why he fucking blocked me.
that's well person, I guess.
I don't know. I still think sociology is a scam. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty.
I agree with you on that. We can
too.
debate
I
that
agree.
next time.
I really want
Yeah,
to.
like I'd like to go talk to that guy some more. He seems interesting when he's not
open-minded.
when he's not fucking blocking people.
Well, he's got pronouns in his Twitter bio, so.
Yeah, he's
Well,
so open-minded your brain falls out.
It's like one of those things. It's like one of those things where it's like,
That's what I said.
yeah. I mean, yeah, he talks about it's one of those things where they give talking points, and the research is so bland, it's so poor, and then it's like you're giving these very vague reasons why X happens when there's so many reasons that you have to consider before you even get to whatever, like even like race, like there was the one thing there was black graduates make less than white graduates. It's like, well let's why don't we break that down, because it's like, well, what school did they go to, what major did they take, where are they from, where are they looking at as far as job opportunities. Like there's a whole shit stream of stuff that you could look into before like race would even begin to fucking factor. And
And I can tell you personally from working at like a large fucking corpo before, they are
love
prioritized.
diversity.
They are prioritized. Like there was
Yeah.
some dude who came in with like fucking tattoos all on his arm, and he was like getting a fucking internship,
Dude,
and he was offered a job, and he was like, yelled at like nicely, but he was still told like, hey, you need to go and like, dress a little more formally because you're meeting with like an executive. Like, what the fuck?
Dude, we have a dude in my office that literally has those I forget what they're called. That we used to have like small ones. They're like these oopsies. Yeah. Somebody I know. There's somebody, those earrings that kind of go in your earlobe.
Gauges.
Gauges, yes. He has one. I'm not kidding you. The hole, you could put your fucking fist through it. It's that big.
I've known people like that.
And yeah, and I see, and I think what Jeff was saying, like, I'd have to look at the study before giving any take on it. It first sounded like they were just looking at people with and without criminal record and their races, but then it sounded like they were the identical, like, person, and yet the white person was favored of the black person, and I don't buy it. I just don't. I mean, you can say, well, that's
What companies are they looking at? Are they looking at some like random fucking small company that has like 10 employees? Or
He conveniently left out the fact that affirmative action is literally there to like disenfranchise white people. Like that's literally the whole fucking point of it.
Look,
And what about Asians, right? We talk about this, this ladder of victimhood, right? That blacks were once slaves. What about the fact that we put Asians in fucking internment camps and they're doing just fine? So like no one can really figure that out for whatever reason, but it's the white man's fault.
And it's Democrats, and it's a demo, like they're getting discriminated right now in Harvard, and when Asians tried to sue to rectify it, it was literally an Obama judge that dismissed the case. Like it was like, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like
and that's what should tell you why you should be suspect of anybody in the left telling you about race and anything, because they literally went, Asians, you're doing too good. We gotta stop that. Can't do that. Can't have you start thinking for yourselves too much.
By the way, Obama judges have literally ruined this fucking country.
Yeah.
Thank God we had a few Trump judges.
Did you see it? Lindsey Graham. Tucker was talking about how Lindsey Graham was voting for a lot of these.
I saw Tucker's. Dude, Lindsey Graham, fuck him, yo. Fuck Lindsey Graham, yo. He needs to get the fuck out of the Senate.
He is the poster child.
He's a snake.
Establishment.
He's like. He's like what's her name? That Wyoming bitch. Her name Liz Cheney. Yeah,
Ugh.
she's like the fucking Cheney
Yeah.
of the Senate.
Ugh. Yeah, get him out. Out. Don't give him their coats.
She's the Lindsey Graham of Mitch McConnell's.
Dude, we need more Madison Cawthorns, Tom Massey's, Rand Paul's. We need more of those guys.
I disagree with you on Madison, but I like Rand. I like Massey a lot more recently after watching a documentary on HBO about him and Matt Gaetz. I love Matt Gaetz. I love Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, I love MGT.
Oh, she's awesome.
I disagree. Yeah, I disagree. I do disagree on Madison Cawthorn, and I can say that because I'm also a cripple.
Do you stand with him?
Right, he's got street cred.
Do you stand with Madison Cawthorn, Sam?
I mean, yes, when I'm able to stand, as long as I have a cane.
See, that's the thing, honestly, that even if you like Madison, you have to admit this is kind of funny. Why does he always talk about I stand with Israel, I stand with veterans, I stand, dude? We know.
But then when it's time to stand up for Trump, he acts like a fucking cripple in office.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are being too mean to him. Come on.
By the way.
I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows. Sam's in a wheelchair.
Speaking of Obama judges, right?
So he can say that.
Sidney Powell and the Trump judges were getting recommended for disbarment. You know who did that? Another fucking Obama-appointed judge.
Yeah.
Dude,
well, I'm just glad that Clinton. Clinton's judges aren't too terrible.
You know who tried to fuck over Roger Stone? An Obama-appointed judge.
And Black Lives Matter activists on the jury. Yep. Yeah.
Well, he got pardoned. Dude,
Yeah,
I don't know what I don't
thankfully.
understand about some of these new Congress people, Madison Cawthorn, even Elon Omar, is they fucking smoke cigarettes. Who the fuck smokes cigarettes nowadays? Like full-blown cigars. Like, I don't even understand that. Like, I'm like, dude, you're 25, and in Madison Cawthorn's case, he's in a wheelchair, and he's like smoking cigars, and I'm just like, that's like disgusting. Like, what are you doing?
Agree.
Let them fucking smoke their cigarettes, man.
I mean,
I agree. Well, see, okay, first of all,
that is the most American thing, and that's even more American than apple pie. Because
it's not.
Yes,
No,
it is. Yes.
No. Cigarettes
Smoking
are
is
not
the
cool.
most Chad thing you can do.
Cigarettes are not cool.
it's not more American than corruption, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, okay, at least, maybe I will give you this point, Alex. Vaping is worse.
Dude,
That's gotta go.
It is physically better, but
Physically, is it?
Guys, I have a great idea. Let's ban all drugs. Let's start a war on drugs. Oh, wait.
I thought you were libertarian.
I'm joke. The joke.
He took a few too many drinks tonight. Jokes are flying over your head, Alex.
I smoke a cigar about like 3 times a year.
Dude, I think we need to bring back flavored cigarettes.
Yes. Let's ban cigarettes.
No, let's bring back the flavored ones, ban the regular ones.
I remember when Trump was doing those like vape bans. I was in such like a heated debate between Alex on this because I was all like, no, he should have gone further. And Alex was like, no, nothing.
Well, no, because that actually gets people off of cigarettes.
Does it?
Yes.
It's a marketing.
Dude,
I think it's a load of shit. No, it doesn't.
You know what it does?
It's just
dude,
for kids.
It's a marketing scam.
It's smoking for kids.
No, I fucking
drug
smoke
transfer.
cigarettes all the fucking time. I got into vaping. I have not touched a cigarette in over a year.
Yeah, because you're now hooked on vaping. It's a marketing scam.
Which is a better fucking drug significantly.
All it
I
is
can
is-
tell you what.
They call it drug transference.
Yeah, and
Yes.
this one's an objectively better drug to be addicted to.
Is it? We don't know. We don't know.
We know. Yeah, dude, I used to go and like if I were to run after smoking, man, that fucking sucks. With this, man, I don't have any issues with breathing with this.
Okay, that might be true, but what I'm saying is, I'm not trying to sound like Sam Richards, but we don't have any long-term studies on vaping when we've had decades of cigarette studies.
Well, neither do we have long-term fucking studies on this
COVID.
vaccine, and we're
Yeah, I
still
was gonna say
mandating
we
it.
have less long-term studies of the COVID vaccine than we do with friggin' vaping.
That is true too. That is true too.
That is
Well,
true.
you can
but
tell, like, not even talking about the health issues, but the fucking safety issues. One, you're having a fucking torch. The other one, you're having a little fucking electronic dildo in your hand. Which one's worse?
So you like the electronic dildo in your mouth?
Not gonna lie, it's fucking nice.
Something else that I'm going way back to the beginning of the conversation where we were talking
That's
about like
fine.
me going to like campus and stuff like that. Dude, there's no dress code. Like everyone just kind of wears what they want.
Did you just go to Catholic school?
No. I went to a public high
Dude,
school.
my fucking public high school, first day of high school, there was some girl with a shirt that says "I like midget porn" because it makes me feel bigger.
Dude, a guy was walking around with a shirt that said "I love hot moms," and then a girl was walking around in a straight up bikini, like a swimming suit.
Nice.
So I'm just like, like I was just debating coming to school in a Speedo because there are apparently no rules here.
Yeah, you could do it. I've seen people in worse, especially those girls, the fucking sorority girls. Yeah, man, they'll go on and like, they're built for winter weather or something. Because I see them going out in winter with like fishnets and short shorts. Like I'll give them that. I'm a big guy myself, but I couldn't even fucking do that.
Hey, wait, let me gauge your guys' opinion on this, okay? So I am planning. Okay, in addition to all of the COVID-related stuff. So I have clarified this with the Office of Student Conduct and the specific LGBTQ office. And Penn State has a gender-neutral bathroom policy, which means that
Yes,
you
that's
can
true.
use...
I saw that.
So what I was thinking of doing, okay...
Oh, you're gonna go to the girls' room, are you?
Yeah, straight the fuck up, man. So I'm gonna get a bunch of people, I'm gonna tell them, starting this day, I want every dude to use the girls' bathrooms. I want every dude that goes to the gym to change in the women's locker rooms because dude, you guys think I'm full of shit? I'm not joking.
That's great.
Like, I'm straight. So I'm genuinely thinking of doing that, and I would like to hear what your thoughts are on that.
You wanna know what my thoughts are?
That's
Date and
funny.
time. Tell me, I'll be there.
Dope. That's dope. Because I mean, the
thing.
thing is that it's obviously absurd, but people aren't gonna do anything about it until they're like, wait, what the fuck? This is like crazy, right? They're like, yeah, we support trans rights, and then the second I walk in, with my big fat cock out on the table, that's when people are gonna change their minds and be like, wait a second, this is actually low key kind of weird. It's like, so it's just total garbage.
I knew I liked you. The minute I saw those pictures, that side.
Fuck, you need to come on again, man. This has been great.
This is awesome.
How long has this been going? We've been on. Have we been live for 2.5 hours?
Oh,
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, we've had like 12 hours.
That's crazy.
fucking- Not 12 hours. We've done for a while.
We've done 4-hour streams before, dude.
Wait, 1.5. I'm bad at math. My bad.
Well, that's what we tried to push to because on the radio, we should tell you about the radio, and you can check out on the channel. But we used to do a 2-hour show on the radio.
Real quick, if you're a Penn State student, you should join the radio club or whatever they call it.
Yes.
Because we need to get access to that shit again.
Wait. What is that? What is it?
So when you're the hub, you know where the
The Robinson Hub? The Robinson Hub?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. If you go in there, you know where the High School Musical steps are, the big ass wooden steps.
Yeah.
Right across from that and to the right, near the exit, is a radio station called The Lion. I used to be there for like 3 years, and we used to do this show on the radio, but without what we do on YouTube. It's sort of YouTube shit. But we had Sargon on there, we had Hunter Avalon, we had Milo come on, we had Styx Hexenhammer, we had Jack Posobiec, Mike Cernovich, we had a bunch of people we got on.
You had me, and I...
and Sam! Yes, and Sam! That was when we first had you on, was on the radio. It was a lot of
how
fun.
many people does the radio reach?
They never told us, because for whatever reason.
What?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to really tell
on.
that.
People love to get on that show though because.
Oh yeah,
it's
we
like
get callers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get callers every now and then. and we have
That
debates with
sounds
them.
like a scam, yo. How the hell do you not know how many people are listening?
Well, it's a radio. How are you going to gauge it? It's not like YouTube where it says this person clicked on
There's
it.
no way to know how many people are actively listening to you.
I'm sure the higher ups know, but they.
Yeah, they do have a way of knowing. They just don't say for some reason.
What station does it broadcast on? Like, can I play that in my car?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was
wherever
it?
you are, you can get it. It's Line 90.7 FM. There's probably music right now. Yeah, 90.7. There's talk shows, there's music. I would do an hour of music and then 2 hours of radio. It was awesome. We had so much fun. But the only thing you can't do on there is curse.
Well, yeah, because it's FCC regulated, right?
Yeah.
But you could do everything else. You could say stuff about the coronavirus that you couldn't get away with.
Welcome to the Libertarian Hour with Avi! Penn State yeah, there's no way they're letting me on that thing.
They will. Dude,
Yeah,
they
as
let
long
me
as you
on.
don't go call it the
let
China
John on.
virus, you're okay.
The China virus.
Yeah, we had a
Person.
person that we knew who got banned from Penn State. Well, I think there's other reasons too, because she was a little
Crazy.
bit out there. Yeah, like legitimate schizophrenia, I think.
Wait, she got terminated from the university?
Well, she wasn't paid. She just came on the radio like once, and she was told that she could not like come there again because she called the coronavirus the Chinese virus.
But it is the Chinese virus.
I know. They said it was like hate speech or something. I don't know.
Well, wait a
I-
second. It's a public campus. There's no such thing as a hate speech rule.
Oh, they have it.
That's
they
not
have
legal.
free speech zones too.
Not at Penn State. No, they're not fucking free speech zones
Yep.
here.
They call them areas of expressive activity.
I've never seen these zones. Where the hell are these zones?
They exist, but I don't think they're really that much enforced anymore.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
totally unconstitutional.
Yeah, I mean, Penn State, I'll tell you this. This is, as somebody who's pretty right wing, I will tell you they aren't that bad. Like, the professors and the people can be your typical kooky leftist, but the actual administration, they will condemn stuff. They will do the diversity bullshit talks and blah,
They
blah,
won't
blah.
silence you.
They're
They'll
usually pretty
try.
good. The professors, they could. I've had ones that took points off an assignment because I criticized the Women's March because I basically just said it was bad optics. I wasn't even saying anything more than that. So you'll get that, but as long as you can back yourself up and defend yourself,
Professors
you'll
can't
be
take
fine.
points.
Shouldn't be able to.
They,
But
They-
shouldn't, but they do.
Did you
And
complain?
that's why I
Did
say,
you complain?
I don't remember actually. If
I would have
did.
complained. I would have been like, "Fuck that! You can't take points off for that."
they
Well-
should. You know, it's
They-
if you're in school at that time, it's difficult. If you're
Yeah.
paying,
Well, you just need to be smart about things. It's like if you go up, and I know this is obvious, but like if you go up to the front of the room and for like a class assignment, you start saying the N-word, like obviously that's not gonna fly well. But if you go up to the front of the room and you say like, yeah, I think Trump's the greatest president ever, and here's why, you could actually be fine for the most part. Because as long as you back it up and you don't sound crazy, you can get away with things, and they have less of ways to screw you. Like, but even for speaking events, we did a pretty controversial one, got a lot of heat, and I'm gonna be doing another one soon. And there's not a lot they can do to stop it. And as long as you cross your T's, dot your I's, and you don't do anything stupid, you're gonna be basically fine.
Got you.
Yeah, so that's just my advice.
Well,
Like with the radio too, you will be fine. But if they find one thing to get you on that technically breaks the rules, they will get you for it, sort of thing.
well, and the other thing is just in college in general, because even here in Florida, like if you like criticize global warming or something like I did freshman year, the professors will come down on you and like, you know, dock points and whatnot, which is fucking retarded, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So
I wouldn't stand for that shit. That's ridiculous. Luckily, I'm a business major, so all of the professors except Richards is not woke. They just teach their subject material and don't convey
but-
political ideology.
here's one word of
but
advice
Avi-
too: be very careful what you put on GroupMe or any sort of chat apps over there.
Yes.
But Avi,
Why?
That shit, they will save it. It bites someone in the ass every semester since I've left.
Well,
Whether it be a frat
basically,
or a club.
basically the problem becomes you don't know everybody in the group me, and especially political ones, left-wing people will infiltrate it and then leak it and try to make people look bad. Just honestly, the easiest thing you can do is be careful what you say and change your name in the group me. Don't be your full real name.
Well,
just
let me
change
tell you guys
something.
what happened. Okay, you guys are gonna probably laugh at this. So I was added to a Microsoft Teams chat for our floor in my dorms, and I asked if they're gonna enforce This was before we moved in. This was like the preliminary stuff. So I asked before we moved in, are they gonna enforce the mask mandate? And the RA was like, yeah. And then I started saying like, dude, you're just as bad as the fucking Nuremberg trials, right? You're just following
Nuremberg.
Nuremberg trials, and I was like, you're like, it's fascism and all this other garbage,
Dang.
and I didn't get in trouble for it though.
Well,
people People were like telling me to shut the fuck up, but I didn't get in trouble for it.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, particularly
Posting a spicy meme.
things.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody posted a meme in response to what I said. It said, "I have the world's largest satellite dish, and I'm still trying to find out who the fuck asked." So that was a good one. That was a good one. Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the that's the ones that you'll be fine with.
Well-
but like if you post a really spicy meme, like with like a Holocaust joke,
Or you
like
say you're gonna push someone off a bridge.
yeah, like if it's you'll know it's spicy is when you see it. Where it's like, just imagine if it got leaked with your name on it. It's like, yeah, that
Dude,
was.
my attitude at this point in life is like, I can live my entire life fearful that some out of context Twitter comment is gonna impact my entire life, or I could just live my freaking life and just not worry about this shit. And I'm just choosing the second option. Like, I just don't care. Like, I'm just gonna live my life. I'm not gonna worry at every single corner that I'm gonna somehow be screwed long term by something I say. It's like, I'm gonna be me.
Yeah, and I mean I understand it because I'm careful to a degree, but at the same time I'm at a point where I know my abilities, I know my experience, where I know what I can do in life, and so I have learned like there are ways that I can achieve financial freedom hopefully, and there is a degree that I just don't care anymore. And at the same time I'm still careful, but it just depends what you want, what type of life you want to live, and can you live it more or less. If you want to live that lifestyle, all for it. Just gotta make sure you can live it, And that's where in college you can kind of learn what you're good at, what you can do, how you can do things. That's kind of what I took away from college. That's like the classes are, for me, maybe I have ADHD, my therapist thinks so. So maybe I just can't focus, but I find classes boring. And I didn't learn anything. I really didn't. All my learning was through Turning Point, the Trump Club, and my friends right here. They taught me a lot. They helped me a lot. And just getting involved with
thank
things.
you.
Here's some other advice too. Get a fucking internship
Yeah.
Ooh,
as
yeah.
soon as you can.
I messed up on that.
Early, because like if I want a summer internship, for example, how early should I?
Dude,
start looking?
you're junior now. Start applying. I was like, I went to a branch campus. I fucked off my first year because I didn't think I'd need it, and then like boom,
So I should apply for an internship for the summer of 2022 right now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Does the business school have their own?
Yeah, we have our own little
Dude,
thing. Yeah.
go to that one first. That's the more important one. I was cybersecurity major, so I didn't. I never went to the major one, but like not the major one. I never went to the big one, but you go to your own school's one. That's where your own college's one. That's where you'll find the good shit.
And I'm not sure about your college, but like my college, I'm a communications major, but like my college actually required an internship for my degree program junior year. So that's another thing to keep in mind too, is some of these programs require you to take an internship.
Well, even if it doesn't, you should get it because I was lucky, man. Like I got my internship technically the summer of my senior year. I need one to graduate too, so I technically didn't graduate until after that summer session. But when I did take that internship, like that's where I got my job from. It makes it so much easier.
Well, there are two things too. Like one, I'm communications like Sam, and I think we're both marketing. I'm technically advertising, the same difference. And yes, I'm technically not. I didn't need an internship to graduate, but I need an internship to get a job. I'm technically in an internship right now, but it's like a job, but kind of not. It's a weird gray area, but I learned the biggest, most annoying thing that still pisses me off to this day was when I go to the guidance counselor and I try to get shit, I'd be like, all right, it's my junior year, it's my senior year, whatever it is, I need an internship. I need it now so that once I'm out of college or a few months after, I can get a job. And they were like, okay, do you have 3 years of advertising experience? I'm like, no. He's like, well, you need experience to get an internship. I'm like, how can I get an internship if I don't have experience? The internship is supposed to give me that. And they're like, well, you need it because all these job applications say so. So that's the catch-22 that, and I don't know how it is with business, but I think it's probably consistent with a lot of fields, any internship, any job, is they have this bullshit standard of you need experience to get experience. So you need
Yes.
to kind of find it in a weird way. Like what I did was,
It's
it is a
HR.
scam.
It's
It
it's
is a
fucking
scam.
HR that does this, and that's where all these sociology degree majors tend to go to. So that's another reason sociology is a fucking fraud.
Yeah. So what I did was I took things like Turning Point, which I just naturally fell into, and I framed as advertising because it kind of was marketing the whole time. And so I'd say like, well, I did tabling every week where I tried to sell our club to people. I made flyers to advertise events. I used Photoshop to make them and Illustrator. So like I was showing my skills, even though it wasn't something that's technically advertising, but I was showing my skills. So if you can get involved with something like that, that will help you a ton because, or else your resume is going to be blank pretty much, unless you have some other experiences. But that's just something I can tell you that will really help because I hate being in the junior shoes and trying to find stuff, and then nobody wanted me because they said you need experience. I'm like, well, I'm a student.
You know what I would say now? I'd say everyone's looking for a job. I mean, no, nobody's looking for a job. Everyone's looking to hire people, so you could either hire me or you don't have to. It's up to you.
That's temporary. Who knows what'll happen by the
Hey,
time you
if you want to
Fuck
make,
it all up.
if you want $150 paid to you for an interview and making $30 an hour at McDonald's, you can now. That won't last long, but you can because they're desperate to hire people. And I'm actually honestly, I almost considered doing it because they were literally paying people just to do an interview with them. It was that bad. Low skill is in such short supply right now, but
Yeah,
that will
because of
change.
Biden and
you're
also
idling.
Trump's fault too.
Maybe.
Not
their
either
fault.
one?
Yeah, you were.
Nah.
By the way, if you have a fucking PC, man, anytime. Fucking
Yeah, we're
Halo.
gamers.
Yeah,
We're
doing
gamers.
the Halo.
Yeah. I recently upgraded my baby here, my PC, so we finally be able to get back into gaming. Because that's what, on the YouTube side of things, we're streaming our game.
Gotcha. I got a laptop with me. It's pretty good. It's a Dell. I think it's like 16 gigs. It's got some good stuff on it. So I don't know. I mainly play Gary's mod.
Oh, there you go. That's an oldie.
I like RDMing on Dark RP servers. That's
Have you
what I'm-
played RuneScape?
No.
Oh, that's
Uh.
what Alex loves. That's his autism
I-
simulator.
No, that's not even the worst one. It's like Gear City game. It's literally fucking spreadsheets. Now, we're even
Yeah.
playing Halo on here. If you ever want to, I don't know if your computer can probably handle it. This is a fucking like 20-year-old game or something at this point, right?
Yeah, but this is a Master Chief Collection, so it has like all the updated, the remastered maps that are. A
Oh,
little
they're
bit more.
still not. They shouldn't be that bad.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but to laptops, who knows? Oh, Jeff wants me to send you your Twitter, sir.
Go for it.
He'll unblock you.
Go for it.
Wait,
Yeah, I was probably trolling or something back then. I deleted I scrubbed my Twitter account after someone doxed me on there in the middle of a class. It was it was like a Penn State professor too. It's pretty fucked.
Yeah.
Well, oh, you mean Alex's? I'm like, wait, Jeff didn't block me, but
That would've been funny.
Well, no, someone doxed me on there. It was fucking weird. What the fuck's this guy doing? He just killed himself. But no, like, I don't know, man. I think someone gave me their Twitter. Someone gave me I guess sociology would have been our certain friend who tried to invite Richard Spencer to Penn State.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he gave me their, I think, sociology's Twitter profile, and they told me to go and fuck with it, so I did. So, yeah, it was probably deserved.
Well, sorry, I was typing some. What was the context you think of why you got blocked?
Because a certain person who invited Richard Spencer to Penn State gave me the Twitter handle to text it to go into class. And I was posting spicy memes, probably.
Nice.
so,
Yeah.
I was gonna.
You want to talk about Afghanistan, Sam? Is
Yeah,
that what
let's
I'm
talk
thinking?
about
Yeah.
Afghanistan.
yeah,
Let's talk about that catastrophe.
Did you guys? I know Sean saw my reaction stream on Thursday to Apex, and I did.
Yeah, Alex, real quick. I hate to interrupt, but Jeff just said, "Oh, LOL, I banned him because his fucking profile picture was a rainbow swastika."
Was it?
I stand behind that choice.
I didn't even think I fucking swapped. I didn't even remember that.
I don't either. But that's funny.
I don't even remember doing that. I thought I had that fucking donkey as that or whatever for the longest time.
I mean, I disavow, but that's funny.
I don't even remember doing that. If I did, you know, I was a fucking idiot.
Yeah. So the Afghanistan catastrophe. If nobody hasn't like listened to anybody say anything, you would know that, or wouldn't know, but we'll fill you in that basically the quote unquote terrorists, we'll dive into that conspiracy next, but quote unquote terrorists, ISIS-K, it's like a spin-off of ISIS.
Special K.
Yeah. They bombed and attacked the Kabul airport, killed not only a bunch of Afghans, but I forget what the number's up to now, but I think it was around 12 American service members.
Mike, yes! Oh, I'm sorry. I was no. It's just I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm on Twitter, and Spike Cohen, who was the vice presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party for 2020.
Oh, I know him.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
he just commented about my my stuff.
Whoa, there we
So-
go.
I'm like a little hype right now. So,
You're girl famous now.
Yes.
dude, Spike is such a dope guy. He's so awesome. He's just, man. If him and I wasn't a huge fan of Joe Jorgensen. She was okay,
my
but
Oh boy.
she just wasn't exciting. And Gary Johnson also was not very exciting.
Dude, I've said this before. I think you guys should have, before John McAfee was whacked, you guys should have had him run, because at least he'd have name recognition and he would have been funny.
Yes.
That or Joe Exotic.
Yes.
Those would be unironically the highest chance you'd ever have of a libertarian getting elected to public office as the president.
Listen,
They got to do the smaller offices too.
Well,
Like,
I meant like president. Yeah, you're right. They get into they had the weird ones. Like I think it was the one in Florida that had a controversy with drinking goat blood during some satanic ritual.
Oh, Jeff corrected. He said, "Wait, that was Apex. I'll unban him."
I was about to say, I don't think I ever did that.
Oh wait. Oh my God! Yeah, that's right. Apex did do the Nazi swastika for the entire month of June. So.
Oh, it's just Gay Pride Month.
That's probably one of those like trolling things.
It's a troll. Yeah, it's a troll.
I was about to say, like, I mean, I didn't deny it. I said, well, it could have been me. But,
It could have been. The FBI could have staged a false flag in Afghanistan, or the CIA, I mean.
Jeff needs to meet Apex one of these days. I feel like.
oh,
Well,
dude, I
Apex
fucking miss Apex, man. I want to talk to him again. He's awesome.
he could confirm or deny the theory that God is a woman in LSD, DMT land.
Dude, he reminds me so much of a certain person I used to know.
Me
Bad.
too. Me too. But Afghanistan, though, I know Phil's gonna have a lot to say.
Oh yeah.
Let's start running down people. Who wants to go first on what you think of Afghanistan?
I'll take a stab at it.
Go for it.
So my view on Afghanistan is right. So people keep trying to like pit blame against Trump and Biden. It's really all Bush's fault, and Bush is just kind of just laying low, just hoping that nobody points the finger at him. But look, he's what got us there in the first place. That was a bad decision. Now let's talk about the withdrawal. Okay, no, I don't believe anybody aside from like your warmongers are criticizing Biden for pulling out. That's the right decision in my opinion. Get the fuck out of Afghanistan. The problem is with how he did it. Right?
Yep.
He made this huge announcement and was like, okay, on this date, on this time, we're going to fight against the Taliban and we're going to get people out of the, like, he's given like the Taliban a heads up, right? If it was me in charge, if I was commander in chief, what I would do is I would send out an alert, whatever alert system we have, to everybody that's eligible for evacuation, and on the top it would say, shut the fuck up, don't tell anybody, and it's like, here's the plan, on this date, on this time, be at this location, and if, essentially I would just tell the commander of the Air Force, we're going to flood this airport with C-17s, and we're gonna flood them with Marines to secure the perimeter of the airport so people just can't start like coming on. And I would say maybe in 12, 24 hours, get everyone who needs to get out the fuck out. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I think, yeah, no, like his whole reaction to that, he's not even talking. Like his personal reaction, he's like just not answering questions. It's even worse almost than his actual actions, his lack of actions.
Well, did you see when he tried to answer press questions at the press conference?
Well, and that's what I was going to bring up. The thing that Apex and I were both sitting there looking at was the fact that like that Biden was like, and now I've been instructed to call on, and I'm like, and
It was so bad.
and I'm like,
Yeah, is he gonna call fucking Life Alert?
He might need it.
he should have, because man, that speech was bad. But yeah, here you have the fucking president of the United States. He can't even string a fucking sentence together these days. All jokes aside, with like politics and whatnot, I legitimately don't know how he's even fit to run the country.
Yeah, they said that Trump wasn't fit to run. It's like, dude, have you ever even seen this motherfucker over here?
Yeah.
This Biden guy, like he's fucking everything that they said about Trump. It's like even worse with Biden.
Well, you know what this does, though, like, and I'll dive into more of this later of what happened with Afghanistan, but everything that Biden does makes Trump look so much better. It makes Trump look like everything he did was correct. Because it was. I mean, I knew at the time, but I remember we even got into a debate with people during our last Turning Point meeting during my time. Like, Phil and I kept defending Trump by doing the slow withdrawal because we were like, look, you can't just boom pull out like that. It's not that simple. You gotta move equipment. You gotta get the people out of there and then get the military out of there. But what did Biden do? He thought it was a good idea to bring all the guys with the guns out, all of our soldiers out, leave our people, and then get them.
Well, here's the thing.
And our equipment.
So Trump, he didn't let nobody know, but he had
True.
I guess he had a kind of a drawdown date of like May 1st. But at the
which to add context to was when the Taliban would not be at their strongest. Biden pulled out during the peak of their fighting season.
Correct. Not only that, they respected Trump, not in a friendly way, but they knew that if they crossed paths with Trump would light their shit up. And
he told him that.
Biden told the lead Taliban guy that he spoke with, if you fuck with us, I know exactly where your hometown is.
Yeah, that's Trump.
And that's going to be the first place to get bombed if you do anything.
Chad.
So I mean, really, what they did, they basically waited until Biden got elected, and then it was like, well, we know we can fucking. I mean, this is kind of what I felt. I felt like we'll be a little bit more daring because Biden ain't gonna do shit. He's probably not even the one pulling the strings anyway. Like, they know what's going on. I mean, they fucking trolled this dude with ice cream.
I saw that.
They know what's going on. It's not. They're clearly not stupid. But yeah, that's kind of what I think. It's like, so you spent so the Biden administration took longer to pull out and did a way more fuck up of a job. Like, it was just bad. And like you decided to pull the troops out first. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. You take out the Americans. You take out the Americans. You take out the Afghanis first. You destroy all the fucking equipment. Grab whatever you are able to fucking pull out, and then you take the military out last.
That's with boomers, man. They don't have a fucking pullout game.
Well, see, I will admit, like, when I saw last week all the shit going down with the Taliban retaking Afghanistan, like, I was upset. I was like, but I kind of was like, well, it is Biden, so I guess this shouldn't come as a big surprise. But when I saw what happened with them attacking the airport, and I heard it right from a guy who was on the ground on Bannon's show saying what was going down, and I was like, oh no, there's probably going to be American casualties. Probably going to have Americans coming out in stretchers.
And
And sure enough, and honestly, like I don't really get pissed off in news anymore. I get pissed off at a lot of things. I just laugh at craziness, or I just go about my life. But this is one of the few times in a long time I genuinely was like getting angry, pissed off to the point where I had to turn off the news. I was like, I can't listen to this anymore. This is too much.
well,
I mean, what did you, as somebody who has served there, Phil, what did you feel about this?
It was anger because all of this could have easily been avoided. Every bad fucking thing that happened could have easily been avoided. And you know, you got Joe Biden, he's on 60 Minutes, he's on fucking, and then he's talking about, no, I don't know if any of this could have been avoided. Yes, it could have absolutely been avoided. Absolutely. And he just really, I think it was just Biden.
even
Biden wanted to draw down by X date. He didn't care. Like, he didn't give a shit about logistics. He didn't give a shit about anything else. He just wanted X to happen, and that was it. Like, he didn't give a shit about, and he made the decision unilaterally. This is the problem here. He made the decision unilaterally. He made the decision against general's orders. He made the decision against his NATO allies' orders. Like, Britain's fucking still pissed off at him. Like, you know, this is, he wanted to do this thing where he was going to get all the credit, and surprise, it blew up in his fucking face.
Now, here's the one devil's advocate viewpoint that I'm starting to lean towards. Do you think it was intentional to bring Afghanistan back into chaos?
Yes, of course it was. It's the
Awesome.
military-industrial complex. They want this. They like this. They have more money.
That's what I
mean,
think.
there's a couple theories.
Yeah.
There's a couple theories you could look at. That is probably the one you guys are saying, the one that I'm kind of leaning toward is probably the most popular. I mean, there's another theory that, you know, maybe China might have pressured them into pulling out early, or pulling out, and tried to make them hurry to get out. Because you notice that the Russian and the Chinese embassies weren't fucked with at all, right? Nobody
That's
fucked with those.
interesting.
Yeah, and we all know that Biden has a very good relationship with the Chinese.
Do you think they're going to start making moves on Taiwan?
Of course, yeah.
Probably.
It's over. China's gonna go for it.
Highly likely, because
China's gonna go for it.
yeah, because they know that Biden is a pushover. Like, no one in the world respects him anymore.
yeah,
It's just so weak.
He fell
It's
asleep
so
with the
weak.
fucking Israeli prime minister
Hold on.
today.
Wait, what?
Yo, he
Yeah.
fell asleep talking to him.
I
You
didn't
haven't
see
seen
that.
Yo,
Wait,
he fell asleep.
what?
Fell asleep. Sitting in his chair, lumped over, nap time.
Yeah.
I wish Netanyahu was there as prime minister, because he would have like bumped him and be like, "Hey, wake the fuck up." Sleepy Joe's trending on Twitter. Oh my god, this is how Trump is genius. He will give people a nickname that you go like, "Yeah, I'm kind of seeing that person," but they inevitably do exactly what their nickname shows them to do. Hillary
My
Clinton
question-
falls over and gets chucked into a fucking van, and she's all literally crooked. Biden, Sleepy Joe, literally falls asleep. Like their nicknames become a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's amazing.
My question is, because by the time that 2024 comes around, Trump's going to be the same age as Biden is now. Is he really, like, do you think Trump will still be there enough to do it in 2024?
Absolutely. I actually think absolutely, unless something crazy happens.
You said that
he's been
Trump's
improving
going
his
to run?
health.
You said Trump is
Absolutely.
going to run?
Absolutely.
I'm fairly
No.
sure.
Nope. I actually have money against him that he's not going to run.
Really? What's your rationale? I'm curious.
Look, here's the reality. So I know that you guys, that's right. We can't talk about election integrity. I believe that the majority of Americans cannot stand Trump's personality, and that played a big factor in him losing. Is the fact.
I could
Hold
see it.
So
Yeah.
my attitude is that I believe that from a political standpoint, people like the fact that he was tough. He gave off the vibes of, I'm in charge, I am in command, and his policies weren't all that bad. unfortunately, I just believe that the personal aspect of him is not there, and he can't win again. And I feel like if he runs again, he will lose. He is better off endorsing somebody else and somebody else taking the reins of power.
No, you
I
know what?
will-
I don't disagree with you on that as much. I really don't. Like, I can see that, you know, because I know a lot of people didn't vote for Trump because they didn't like his fucking talk. But we'll see.
There's a. I basically get what you're saying. I kind of agree, but there's a big problem, which is yes, in 2016, the biggest thing that kept a lot of people back was I don't like his tweets. I don't like what he says, and I'm just like, get over it. The country's about to die.
Yeah.
This guy's gonna save us.
Well-
But in 2020, when I was campaigning, knocking hundreds of doors, I heard the same complaints from people. Like that seemed to be their biggest reason. But what I started to notice was people that didn't vote for him in 16 that were right-leaning and would have voted for him and should have voted for him, voted for him in 20. And the numbers prove that he gained 10, 15 million votes, whatever it was. And he gained. He grew
I
his
think-
voter base. He
But
didn't
now
lose support.
he will not have any access to social media. You can't,
That worries me more.
and that's
He's
not going to
working
change
on an
now.
alternative, but I don't know how it's
That's-
going to fare.
But I mean, in all
To get-
honesty, if Trump wins, he's going to be the candidate by default.
Absolutely.
He's absolutely going to be the candidate by default because there's no one else.
That's
There's
And
no
there's-
one else.
Well,
can touch it.
there's also a factor of people, especially on the right, but when you he's now getting the contrast, which he didn't really have before. Like, you could contrast him to Obama, but now, like I said, look, when Trump was in, immigration, border was secure, no wars. Nobody was fucking with him, and when they did, he punched back 10 times harder with a Moab and with airstrikes, and the economy was great. With Biden, everything that was good under Trump is now bad, and the media can spin as much as they can, but people at the end of the day are going to go, my gas prices are higher, my food prices are higher, and now Afghanistan's a mess. And the people that maybe were on the fence about Trump are going to be dying to have him back. And I think Trump does really well, and any candidate that's a change candidate does really well when things are really bad.
Yeah, but on the other hand, too, I think that there's a lot of the older boomer base who would have voted for Trump. I don't think they're, you know, between the
I'll tell you
coronavirus, I
what.
think that
No,
probably
they're
killed
strong
off a
with
lot
him.
of people.
They're-
I think
No.
that killed off a lot of people.
There
Killed
is
off.
there is
Yeah.
there is something I kind of want to interject here, real quick. I think, like, in terms of, and by the way, Fat Kick Boy, thanks for the $5 super chat. I think there are a couple things at play here. I don't think that Trump is going to be running in 2024 either, just because of like he'll be 78 years old, and, you know, just physically, I don't know if he'll be up for it. That's what we have to, you know, take into account. But I think one of the things that one of the big motivators in 2016 was that Trump was running against Hillary Clinton, who is literally, as I call her,
Devil.
the she saying, right? So, like, even people who, like, weren't, you know, like, particularly fond of Trump in the beginning, like me, were like, well, I'm gonna vote for him because I just hate that bitch so much. And then I ended up loving Trump the more, you know, in the campaign I got into it. But, you know, now, we need someone like DeSantis, and I'm not saying DeSantis is going to be the guy, but we need someone who has Trump's fierceness and no bullshit attitude without Trump's, you know, like, shoot yourself in the foot on Twitter type mentality.
But see, the
Yeah.
problem is that's the thing that the base loves about Trump, is that he doesn't give a shit. And that's the
So-
thing that, you know, I said on Twitter once, is that everybody, and look, I like DeSantis, I'm a little iffy, I'm a little suspect on some things, but I generally like him. But the problem I keep seeing is the neocons like DeSantis, and they all say he's Trump without the bad stuff. And I say, Trump without the bad stuff is not Trump. And that goes back to what I said earlier about like rock stars, celebrities, or messy, complicated people, and you can't get this perfect person without some messiness.
And there is no DeSantis without Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no.
Yeah.
But in any case, well, okay. So and we could dig into this a little bit too. If Trump, like say, if Trump decides that he's going to run again, he will have questions that will need to be answered, like there before he runs again. One of them being, and a couple of my friends that voted for it. The one thing that does irk him is well,
Tax
he
returns.
he hired a lot of the swamp, right? That
Yeah,
was a problem. That was a
drain
problem.
the swamp thing kind of pissed me off.
Yeah,
He
that
should have done a better
backfired
job
on
with
him.
that.
Like, yeah,
The problem
like-
he had was he didn't know who to
Jared-
trust, and he
Jared,
didn't have much
yeah.
to choose from. But I think he's learned a bit more from that.
Now, if he says that, people could probably get behind him. Like, look, this is the first time on the gig. I'm not really a politician. I've learned who I can and can't trust. Here's what I plan to do. Then that might be a little bit better, more successful. But I'm not sure that he. I'm not confident that he would go in that direction. That's
Well, yeah, who's he gonna select? Who's he have left? You know, that's gonna be his friend. Like he's got a few people, but he needs to start finding that shit out now.
Even his own family turned on him.
I know. Like
Remember
that's
Mary
going on.
Trump? Like it's insane.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with Jared Kushner.
Yeah, I agree with
I
that.
mean,
Well,
I'm
they
not-
distanced
that's an
themselves from
upgrade.
Jared.
Yeah, fuck them. I never liked them to
Yeah.
begin with. But
Well, I'm saying like with Mary Trump, at least Jared, did different views, but at least he never like openly bashed Trump. Mary Trump went out and like constantly bashed him and still bashing him to this day. And honestly, I think we can put all this aside. And I think the two things that matter most that would hurt Trump is social media, censorship, and election integrity. Those are the two things that are really stopping a victory.
well,
now,
not
what's
even that. He doesn't have any friends left. He has no.
He has friends, but
How many of them are trustworthy?
But he ran with everybody against him and won in 16.
I know
You
they
know.
were gonna repeat where he
But-
can't get any decent like MAGA people. in.
Well, that's where we need to do stuff. We got people like Matt Gaetz and we got people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but we need more people like that. I think that's a generational process. It's not going to happen overnight, but the midterms might help us get like we're getting rid of Liz Cheney, we're getting rid of McConnell eventually, getting rid of some low-hanging fruit. But you still got to keep doing this, and it's going to take some time. But it's slowly starting. The Trump revolution is going to take a long time.
I don't know. I think we're gonna be in a world where, we have MAGA with, I don't think he's gonna be taking the lead anymore.
I don't think. If Trump runs, he's going to be the candidate.
Yeah.
And when you look at the alternative, it's going to be either we're going to be stuck in a
DeSantis?
position.
It's gonna be either
Well,
DeSantis.
Well, I'll
we'll
tell you.
we'll
Well,
see.
DeSantis. Well, I'll tell you right now, DeSantis will not run against Trump.
No,
He
he's
won't
too
run
smart.
against him.
He'll want to be VP. That's what he'll want.
He won't run
No,
against
no,
him.
DeSantis. I'll tell you what, he's not gonna pick Mike Pence as his vice president. If
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what
yeah.
I mean. Like that guy's done.
Yeah.
So who's he gonna have as VP?
you know what
I
he's gonna
think
call. He's gonna
DeSantis.
call me. He's gonna. No. No.
No, but
I think he will. Who else would he pick?
no, because
Me.
look, in all reality,
He's gonna call me.
Yes.
They call some of those boomer fucking volunteers you have.
Yeah.
have all
those
It's easy to call a
ideas.
Q person.
I mean, people are the thing with the election with 2024 is if you look at the I mean, it's gonna be like it's gonna the realistic possibility is it's either gonna be Trump or because if it's Biden for 4 more years or if it's Kamala Harris, you're looking at maybe the end of America.
Well,
So it's
I think Biden's gonna be one term. I think it's gonna be Kamala, which is like
I don't
worse
know if
than
it's
Hillary.
gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be Kamala. I think they're gonna pick someone else.
yeah.
'Cause
I
don't
think
they
she-
like
I-
Kamala.
Yeah,
They
no,
don't like her,
it-
but I think she's making the moves to be.
She's gonna
president.
try to be, but I don't think she's gonna win it.
That's true.
It cannot be Kamala because I mean Kamala is hated by the Democrats more than Biden is. Like
This is about as far as the conversation could go without talking about election integrity.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too to consider, this is why I think Trump is dead. Well, I kind of thought Trump was running when I saw him losing weight, when I saw him keep doing these rallies and keeping involved. But there are two things that really got me.
He's
That
probably
I
losing
think
weight because he realizes he's not going to live much longer the size he is.
no, he's making. There's a pattern. He's making all kinds of moves to ensure that he can and will run again. And the more definitive proof to me is two things. Number one, on Sean Hannity, he said, when asked, Trump said, "I've decided on running in 2024." This is a guy who everybody around him will tell you when he decides on something, he's sticking with it. He's not changing his mind. And to say it this early and to be still doing political rallies and acting like you're running in 2024, yeah, he's running. And even Sean Spicer, who, didn't last too long, but they are still friends and cool with each other. He said, "Oh yeah, Trump's running." Oh yeah, without
See, and
doubt.
I think that's the other bad thing too. Like he had a lot of decent people. They just fucking fired at the flip of a hat. If he didn't fire him so quickly, maybe he would have had more friends in the end.
I think a lot of that. I think people understand that a lot of that was going on was a lot of shady people. That again, going back to the swamp, right? Because a lot of the swamp that he hired was making some of these decisions. Like you got Jared Kushner, you've got General Kelly, you've got like a lot of these people that were making these moves, and they weren't really in Trump's best interest. So if he can somehow relay to the masses that this is not gonna that I have fixed this swamp situation, and like then I think he'd be okay. But that will rear its ugly head. Garen fucking Teed, if he runs again, that will be.
Trump's gonna lose. He's gonna lose if he runs again.
I could see it. I like
it
honestly.
Depends if
like,
election
I like
integrity
Trump.
isn't fixed.
Well, so how's it gonna be fixed? It's not gonna be fucking fixed.
No, it could be.
It worse.
could be fixed enough. Well,
how's it gonna be fixed under Biden?
Well, first of all, elections are a state issue, not a federal issue.
Well, for now, I've heard they want to go and move it to state issue.
They'd have to get it through the Senate, and the Supreme Court would have to run it. I don't think that'd fly. I personally don't think so. It's a state's issue, and we'll see what the Arizona audit shows, and we'll see because I think once Arizona, if that has some meat on it, the other dominoes are going to fall.
Well, here's the thing. If Arizona audit shows shit, what's going to happen? Like, what's their end game with that?
The other dominoes will fall. You'll have Georgia doing, you have Pennsylvania doing, you have Nevada do one.
PA won't do it.
Well,
yeah, Georgia's already working on one. That's true. Yeah.
Well, the other thing too, guys, is we're also going to have to see what happens with the recall election
in Newsom.
in
California.
That
doesn't matter.
Hold on, though, Alex. They're already finding instances of like ballot tampering
fraud,
and because and look, like Larry Elder or not, the fact like the
I like him. I fucking actually enjoy Larry Elder. Listen to his fucking show all the time.
So do I. I actually met Larry Elder a couple of years ago. The fact that they're trying to write hit piece after hit piece on him and
they're scared.
Well, and so. That's the other thing I'm saying about DeSantis is, like, DeSantis is saying, DeSantis isn't, like, 100% where I want him, but the fact that, like, they keep trying to, like, blame DeSantis for, like, rising COVID numbers in Florida and, like, write hit pieces on him, like, as I always say, pay attention to the media is writing hit pieces on the most, because that's who the establishment is afraid of, and right now, they're afraid of Trump, they're afraid of Elder, and they're afraid of DeSantis.
I agree 100%.
Okay, hold on. Let's just dispel this right now. There's no way Larry Elder is running for president in 2024.
No, he's not.
He's going to fix California. He's going to repair that shithole.
If he even can. I don't even know if he can.
No, I don't
no, he'll win. He'll win. He'll win the recall. He'll win the recall.
He could win, but he ain't going to be able to do shit.
No. Listen, just because the legislature isn't on his side, look, his platform is. I mean, he's running as a Republican, but he's really a libertarian. So he's just gonna say we're gonna stop enforcing all of these bullshit laws, and things will just get better.
It's
Right,
not
because
gonna
he has
happen
that
in
problem.
California. That's not gonna happen. Like he's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
basically be fucking veto. Like they're gonna override all
Yeah.
his vetoes. He's just gonna be a figurehead to piss people off.
And the problem is, yeah, because California is a super majority Democrat. So literally anything he tries to push or recommend or whatever is not going to
You
happen.
know what? I think you're wrong, and let me tell you why I think you're wrong. If the margin of victory for Larry Elder is large enough, I believe that some of these state reps are going to take a real close look at the districts they serve in and say, "Holy fuck, my district voted for Larry Elder. My ass is on the line." So if I keep up with this progressive, liberal, democratic bullshit, my bad, Democrat bullshit, I'm going to lose my seat. So I feel like that they're not going to be as close-minded as you're making them out to be, because if they're
No, I think all the
Really?
Republicans. I think all the Republicans in California probably left during COVID, and they're moving to California or moving to Texas now.
Well, I mean, look, the possibility. So while it might not matter from a legislative perspective, it could matter in that, like, if Larry Elder could become governor, it might flip a couple of seats from California red.
Wasn't the sense with the new census too? I think California is gaining seats or losing them. I forget.
thought they lost
they,
it.
they lost it.
They lost them, yeah.
I think
So
Texas
consider
gained
that.
some. Texas gained, I think, a few, didn't they?
Texas
They
gained
did.
2, Florida gained 1,
Mhm.
PA
So-
probably lost some too.
PA
But that's
lost
another
1.
thing too. And then
Yeah.
and I'll say for me, I think one of the biggest ones is going to be Pennsylvania. It
Mm,
is. Think about it. Tom Wolf is gone.
Yep.
He will not run again. If they get a good candidate, if they get a good governor candidate, that could change a whole lot of shit.
Who are you
Uh,
leaning towards,
yeah.
Bardos or Parnell?
Say it again.
Who are you leaning towards for governor?
Oh,
If Mastriano was to run, I would fucking
Oh, he's
Yeah.
awesome.
I think there was someone who called me on the phone about his ass.
Well,
They
he's
had, like,
pushing
a
hard to get
survey.
the audit here, so it might have been about that.
he's the one
No,
that's
they were
spearheading the
asking.
audit.
They were asking a survey about what your thoughts on the candidates were. Like, I don't even
Yeah.
like. There was that guy, and there was who was the other people?
Well, it was about Bardos and Parnell too.
Yeah, I think there was Parnell. It's like, they all.
Were
did
those
that.
guys going for
Yeah.
Senate?
I don't
already
know,
forget.
man. I don't
no,
know. They're just
Parnell was going up against. He was going for a House seat the last time
Against
and
Connor
lost-
Lamb
Yeah, and he lost to
by
some
1%.
Yeah, for very sketchy shit too. But
I think he's going for Senate now, right?
and of course the Secretary of State had to fucking resign in disgrace. A couple
Yeah.
months back. Yeah.
wait. What happened with the secretary? I forget.
The
Wasn't it a child porn scandal or something
Oh
weird?
no.
God!
no, I
Fucking
think
Democrats and their child porn.
no, I think it was I think it had something to do with the not disclosing some congressional amendment or something like that.
Oh yeah, it was something like that. It was
Yeah.
some real shady stuff.
Yeah.
I just checked, and Parnell's the guy running for Senate that's going to fill. It's Toomey's seat. They're looking
Oh,
to fill
fuck him!
Toomey's seat.
Fuck him! I
Yeah,
hate
Toomey's
Toomey.
awful. Yeah,
What's
thanks
he-
for
why-
being
why
Why do
Joe?
you guys hate Toomey? What's wrong with Toomey?
Oh, he voted. He
Toomey.
voted to
Rhino.
impeach
He's an
Trump.
anti-gun. He's an anti-gun fucking senator, fucking or whatever he is.
Yeah, he was a senator, anti-gun, voted to impeach Trump, and he's got really anti-Trump near the end of his term too. I never liked him. He gave me just weird vibes, but that seat's up, and I think Fetterman's going for it. You know, the fucking
Oh,
guy.
that's the guy who threatened a black dude with a shotgun. Yeah.
Yes.
There's
Yeah,
some
the
Black
dude
Lives
that looks
Matter
like a
people on his ass.
Yeah, the dude looks like a gangster, like a freaking mob boss or something. Not in a cool way, but like in a scary way. And yeah, I think that should be the attack ad against him. You have a field day with how he went after a black jogger, an unarmed black jogger with a shotgun. And he's going to go up against, on the Republican side, it's either going to be Jeff Bardos or Sean Parnell. Parnell's a veteran, served in Afghanistan, and I was initially leaning towards Bardas because of he was doing smart messaging for small businesses, but he's now been seeing Parnell on Tucker recently, just railing against Biden. I love Parnell. He seems
I think
awesome.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna start seeing a dawn of the alpha male again.
Yeah.
Or
Now,
the
here's the
dawn of
question:
alpha
like
Yes.
we all like to shit on Biden, right? Like, but do you guys really want President Harris? Is that something you're interested in?
No, that's
oh,
that's another
fuck
thing I want to
no.
go and talk about.
Fuck
Like I've
no.
seen Republicans introduce articles of impeachment. Like, what the fuck are you doing? It's gonna be even worse with Harris.
See, well, I
I think-
think those are political moves because they know they're not going to actually impeach him. But
Well,
I do
maybe they
think,
fucking will. You know, what
no,
if they do?
'cause-
Just
'cause the
because.
Biden gets impeached, it's going to be by his cabinet. It will not be by Congress.
I
Well,
Yeah,
no,
I
like
agree
maybe the
with that.
Democrats see this as a way to get fucking Kamala in there.
Well, I've heard from people supposedly have sources that like Posobiec that the DNC hates Kamala, but she has worked her way into a lot of positions
She
with them by
has
sleeping
fucked
with
her way to
people.
the top.
yep,
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 it's true.
yep.
And so she
she's-
has leverage. She's that bitch that shouldn't be in the position
Those
that she
beef
is.
curtains have seen a hell of a. I can't even say that with a straight
That's
face.
female privilege. Being able to go and suck someone's cock. Ugh.
I love that phrase. That is such a fun phrase to say. Beef curtain.
I'm gonna steal that from you. That's a good one.
I mean, I call it roast beef, but yeah.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
I-
And then imagine, and then wait a second. So if we impeach Biden, impeach Kamala, then we're stuck with Pelosi, right? So
Yep.
it never. It's a
Well-
progression of worse. It never gets better.
If I was the Republicans, I would wait until I would wait until the next election.
Mm.
Because really, Biden is kind of just destroying this thing all on his own. You really don't need to dig up dirt or do anything like that. All you just got to do is sit back, eat some popcorn, and watch the fucking show. And he's kind of just killing this thing all on his own. But so you wait until the election, get control of the House, get control of the Senate, and then start dropping bombs.
I will say this for Kamala though, her head game has to be somewhat decent because, I mean, she did basically suck and fuck her way to the top, so it couldn't happen that bad.
I have to admit that you gotta admit you hate her. She's crazy, but she's probably one of the better looking Democrats.
Yeah,
Let's be
she-
real.
You know,
To be
my
fair,
dad.
AOC, you know, she at least be a little bit better looking than that shit.
AOC
I don't
and
think
Kamala
she's
probably
that.
the best looking Democrats.
No,
Like,
no,
let's
no,
be
no.
real.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
Can you
think
can you find a better looking one? I challenge you.
Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard.
Is she a
Yeah, I'll
Democrat
give-
though?
Yes, she is a
I
Democrat.
thought
Well,
she's no longer
yeah.
fucking in
Well,
office.
she is a Democrat in name only.
well,
She's-
well, yeah.
She's a dino.
Yeah, literally. I mean,
Well,
because look,
Walker.
she's in Hawaii. You can't win as a Republican, even though she kind of acts like one, but kind of doesn't. You
Well,
know,
there's a lot of
she's
military,
older.
and there's a lot of military in Hawaii. So that's probably how she got, you know.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Tulsi. I mean, I'm a Republican, but Tulsi's a MILF, so
Sam,
or
your degeneracy has no home here. Be go on.
come on, Phil's here. So,
Yeah, but he's a veteran. If we kick him out, we'll be called like, oh, you hate veterans or something.
exactly. But no, what I was gonna say about Biden though too is I do think impeachment is very well possible because even the corporate press who usually tries to cover for Biden, even they're admitting that this thing in Afghanistan and Biden's
It's
speech,
awful. Yeah.
even they're saying that this is a total fuck up. And when
Yeah.
that happens, I'm always like, oh boy, if CNN and MSNBC are, saying that this is fucked up, then it's, I mean, like,
How else do you say it? You know, what else can they really say? Like, I think the DNC is preparing. This is why Biden's gonna be a one term. He's gonna be a fucking Jimmy Carter of 2020.
He's worse than Carter, I
well,
think.
okay, hold on though, because remember when the Arab Spring happened, and Fast and Furious happened. Like
The Democrats covered it up. This one, they're letting it happen. Like,
Yeah, you can't cover this
Well-
up. There's a hard, the only way they can
they
spin
blame
this
Bush.
is blame Trump. That's the only
Well,
way they can spin this.
They blame Bush on Fast and Furious because they had Operation Wide Receiver. You
Well-
know, they were able to go and blame it on the fucking other guy.
When I
with
hear
this-
that, I think of Sandusky jokes.
Well,
oh,
well,
that's a tradition.
well, that's what I'm saying though. It's like, you know, it's like last time when Obama was in office, there were definitely things that he should have been impeached for, and yet the media bended over backwards to protect him. They can't do that now with Biden.
This is bad. Like,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
worse.
Well, this is way worse because it seems like sheer, like, look, you can think it's intentional, fine, but to the average person, this is going to seem like sheer incompetence. Incompetence that cannot continue and be tolerated. But the tricky thing, too, is the Democrats have trivialized impeachment because they impeached Trump twice over nothing. Zippo. And he got cleared in the Senate both times. He did nothing wrong. So they've trivialized it to a point that now, again, it's going to be like the nuclear option, I think, where Republicans go, hey, better be careful with this. Oh, you did it? Okay, we're going to do it now, too. If they have any balls, they'll start, getting a little ballsy with things. But,
McConnell's balls are all shriveled up like raisins.
Well,
oh, yeah, like, can you imagine
I mean-
McConnell's are probably like, yeah.
I mean,
Have you ever seen
Like,
a turtle's
this-
nutsack?
He does look like a turtle. I'm not going to Google that, but I really want to Google what it looks like right now. But
I don't
Turtle
think they have-
nutsack.
I don't think they even have that sex. They're not mammals, right? I don't know. Fucking lizards, they use some weird shit.
lizard people.
That's what they all fucking are.
Yes. You were saying something, Phil?
yeah, I mean, this is. I mean, we were saying this last week. Like, if anything happened, like if anything were to happen, in Afghanistan, that this would probably be worse than the fall of Saigon
Hmm.
in Vietnam. And lo and behold, 13 troops are gone.
The
Right?
fucking helicopter looks just like Saigon too. It's great.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
but there's no note. I don't think there's any known fatalities in the fall of Saigon.
No.
This one has fatalities, and in a much faster pace too. Like, it's just like,
And more embarrassing.
Well,
Like, could you
Were-
get more
Weren't
embarrassing?
they asking the Taliban to help them defend the fucking airbase?
Yes.
Oh.
Like,
Yes.
what is this shit?
Yeah, that was what Tucker was talking about. They literally, our geniuses, unless they're intentionally doing this, literally went, hey, we need some airport security. Taliban, you want to do that? Oh, yeah, sure.
Well,
And then,
yeah.
and then they would, hey, Taliban, we know some bad guys that you don't like. You want to help us out? Okay, here are all of our Americans' names and green cards stationed in Afghanistan. Can you help us out? Yeah, okay, thanks. Thanks, Taliban. We can trust you, right?
yeah,
Retarded.
Clay Travis brought this up too on the Clay and Buck show yesterday, that Biden was in Congress when the fall of Saigon happened,
Oh,
and he was the one that like authorized. He was like one of the Congress people that like approved the operation that turned into the fall of Saigon. So yeah, he's been around for like 2 of these clusterfucks. So
he's got good experience.
Hey
with
guys,
them.
it's been a pleasure talking to you all. I do have to go, sadly, but it has been a wonderful 2.5 hours. Thank you so much for having me on. I really do appreciate it.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, thanks for coming on yourself,
yeah.
man. We love that. We haven't had guests in a long time, but other than, I mean, Sam, you're just like the frequent, like, I guess, infrequent co-host, if anything.
yeah,
you know?
I'm not
So we
really
appreciate it.
I'm not really a guest anymore. I'm kind of like a
Yeah.
panelist at this point.
Mhm.
Pretty
So.
much, yeah.
And
Yeah.
we'll certainly keep in touch. All right,
Yeah, man. You
I'll
ever want to come on again? Fucking let us know.
And,
appreciate it. I'll keep you guys posted. Take care. Have a great night.
you
See ya.
too.
too.
All
What
right.
a king. What a king.
Where can people? I know he's signed
He's
off, but where
fine.
can people find him at?
Let
Penn
me
State. protesting.
Don't dox him. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, he already admitted to that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was kidding. His Twitter handle I can pull up, and that seems to be. I know he has a website, but if you go follow him on Twitter, you could use the love there. It's at Resist Penn State, all one word, at Resist Penn State on Twitter. Go follow him. I just got shot in Halo, so you better do because I sacrificed my life in Halo for it. At Resist Penn State on Twitter. Give him a follow. He's a true king. Soldiered through. Literally got punched in the face or clocked, like with an elbow in the face, and bled out for us. He gave his blood for us guys, and Antifa was there too. So give him a follow.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons, folks, why I decided to simulcast tonight was because some of you guys did bring up the Penn State thing to me yesterday, so I figured that doing a simulcast on this would just be, interesting to do. So, but
yeah, man, when it fucking comes, it comes. You got fucking Jeff in here too, right?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that
We
was
finally got him on.
that was great, and we'll be sure to get Jeff back because what I really want is the Jeff versus Phil
Smackdown.
Yeah, I also want the Jeff versus Apex showdown too. Even though Apex doesn't know Jeff, I just want Apex to mess with Jeff a little bit.
Yeah, I think yeah, I mean, I'm up for whatever. You know me.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
It was good getting him in the room to talk to us, because I mean, I will say, I obviously am going to disagree with him on a lot of things, but he's at least open-minded.
He's
at least
approachable.
Yeah, and you can have an honest, real conversation with him, none of this like filtered BS.
Yeah.
And real quick, because I know you sound like you want to say something, Phil, but Fat Keckboy in the chat says, yo, rather have Tulsi than Kamala. I mean, they at least have somebody that's
100%.
a bit better, but yeah. You want to say something, Phil, too?
No, I said what I was going to say.
Okay, cool. Well, the only other thing I want to talk about, really, and then we can keep going or go out or whatever we want to do, is Eric Clapton was trending on Twitter and all across the world because he dared make an anti-lockdown, anti-mask protest song. Something the left loves to do, make all these songs about whatever cause they act like they're caring about. He does it, and they call him a white nationalist. Now, what is interesting, I want to point out something that's interesting that I think is rather brave of him to do, dare I say. Not necessarily the song, but I found interviews where they were saying, well, where he was addressing some pretty bad stuff he said in the past. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He was at a concert, I think, and he basically was telling, like, all you gamer words and all of you other races to get out of the country.
What the
Which
fuck?
is like, that's pretty
funny.
out there.
Yeah, like, this is saying, what did Eric Clapton do before this? Like, what was his musical shit?
Musical shit? Well, he is revered in the industry. Well, revered, I forget.
He's considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest, guitar players of all time.
Yeah.
He's highly, up there in terms of guitarists. He's obviously has his solo work, like Slow Hands, his probably most famous album, but he's also done songs for other groups or played guitar for other groups. And like he did stuff for the Beatles, he did stuff for a lot of people.
He's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 6 times. Like he's the one that's done that. Yeah. But so basically he's uncancelable, and I fucking love that, because he can basically say whatever he wants and they can't cancel him now because he's Eric Clapton. So.
Yeah. Yeah, he has that level of legendary status at this point. But what I found interesting, because I don't know too much about him actually, I really haven't dived into him. I know his music a little bit, and I have a couple, like one of his albums, Slow Hand. But what's interesting was he said some pretty bad stuff at one point, but he didn't go in an interview and say, "Oh, that's not me. Oh, I would never say that. I was just drunk." What was interesting was he literally said, "I used to be pretty damn racist, but I've changed." And I thought, I've never heard anybody say that. Can you think of anybody else who genuinely was able to say that? Because that sounds like to me a more honest take, especially considering that was from like the 70s, which, obviously things were getting better then, but there were still quite a few people that were pretty racist then. And he flat out admitted, like, yeah, I was racist then, but I've changed and I'm not now.
The
Yeah,
only
I
that's
thought that
got
was a
balls.
really, really interesting thing to say. And I think that's the sort of thing that more people should be like and should be saying, obviously not being racist, don't take it out of context, but
Don't
when
be
they
a
do
pussy and
something
lie.
bad, yeah, don't lie and admit that you've changed, because that's what humans should do. If they're doing something bad, is they change, not act like they've always been a perfect person. So I was surprised to see that, and actually made me respect him more.
the only other one I can think of that has done that interesting enough is Van Morrison, who is also
His
pretty
buddy now.
who is also pretty well. I mean, they've been
Well, they've been
buddy-
buddies, but like they're tight buddies now,
Yeah,
in
well,
getting shit from the left.
and Van Morrison has also been accused of being a misogynist too, because like back in the 70s, like he used to. So he's from Ireland, and Gavin actually loves Van Morrison because I guess Van Morrison is like Scotch Irish, and so is
Does Gabby.
so is Gavin. So Gavin's a big fan, but yeah, I guess Van Morrison wrote like a song about like no more lockdowns, like about like 6 months ago, and everyone basically was like freaking out, and he basically said, if you don't like the music, don't buy it, or fuck off. So
Good.
and
Yeah.
and he's also admitted that he used to say like some pretty like racist and sexist things, but he's changed, but like he's never like apologized for what he said back then. He just said it was a different time, and I've changed. So
Well, that's the more honest truth of the matter. It's like whenever times you see, and you're still seeing it, they try to change. Oh, this is another thing that can connect to this kind of. But when you see how in the movies they'll try and change stuff that was racist then or looks bad then from the 30s, it's like, look, you should keep that there because it shows what those times were like and how we shouldn't be that way and how it's reflective of that time. It's the way things work. You like it or not, it's the way it was. And all art is reflective of the time it was made in, for better or worse. But did you see that Disney is changing the name of Boba Fett's ship?
Yes.
yeah,
No longer the Slave One.
It's gonna be the
Spitfire?
Firestorm or whatever it's
I thought it was a
called.
Spitfire or whatever.
No, that'd be a little too generic, so they went for another generic name. Yeah, so you can't even in Star Wars use the word slave, basically.
What do they call what happened to Layla or Princess Leia?
Slave Leia.
they're calling her the Hut Slayer now, and that was.
Wait, are you not joking?
No, I'm not joking. Look it up. So
The Slut Slayer?
yeah,
Leia the Slut Slayer?
well, yeah, that's what it should be called. But yeah, Leia the Hut Slayer. Which, by the way, when Disney tried to come after Slave Leia, even Carrie Fisher like laughed them off. So
Being
Like,
enslaved.
she's fucking enslaved. She's a sex slave at that point. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to say the sex part, but like, she's not there of her own free will, and she's not arrested, so she's a slave.
I guess I need to, the other thing too is with slave in Star Wars, it's never used in the context of black people. It's like usually
Well, they have Wookiees, but they got just rewrite that whole history too, because weren't they enslaved? Were they now like?
there were
just...
so many different alien species in Star Wars that are enslaved.
Well, and the point too is it's like the they never like portrayed it as like a good thing either.
No, it's never portrayed that way.
Didn't the Mandalorian specifically like enslave fucking Wookiees and shit, or like capture them? Weren't they like slave captors or something at some point?
Yeah, like. Well,
Or
like,
the one guy, the lizard people did that shit. They like rip off their like hide and they use it to go and like make rugs and shit.
Well, there's a whole Clone Wars episode of when Anakin and Ahsoka are dropped on this slave planet, and they have to I forget what they have to do, but they basically get enslaved and they get thrown to this like Hunger Games style death match, team death match.
Battle Royale.
Yeah, battle royale.
They do doubles.
Yeah, yeah, and it literally is like I don't like calling it a children's show, but it was on Cartoon Network.
It is a children's show.
Yeah,
who cares? I mean, it's a children's show. It's a good children's show, but still fucking kids show.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Well, my point being is that it's like kids are watching it, and the message that's portraying is slavery bad. It's like. It's just I would love to hear Disney's rationale for it, but I think they're trying to make Boba Fett this is my guess more marketable because they're making this new Boba Fett show and spin-off show, and they don't want the Slave Association to. But the joke is Boba Fett is not a good guy.
Dude, he's a fucking mercenary, man, wasn't he?
He's a bounty hunter. He's a bounty hunter.
Well,
he's just like that's his character. He's this rough, mysterious, cutthroat, dangerous, notorious bounty hunter. He's like the most dangerous guy you could cross isn't a Sith. So it's like he's not supposed to be nice and good.
Well, Disney, I mean, I'd like to hear Disney's rationale for a whole bunch of shit they've been doing, but that's bizarre. I mean, Disney doesn't care about like the actual fan base of Star Wars, and they haven't for years.
No,
So,
they hate the fans. Like even their writers look shit on the fans. But it's gonna be called. I found the name Fire Spray.
Fire spray sounds like what you do when you're pissing after you get chlamydia.
Fire spray sounds like the name of a local hot sauce company.
Sounds like what happens after you eat Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
magic.
know.
Fucking Chinese. The word for diarrhea is hot shit.
It's accurate.
Yeah.
But it's just it's so cocked. I mean, I don't get it. The only thing I can see is that they're trying to market him better. But you have the Mandalorian. Do you really need a Boba Fett spinoff? Of course you do, because money.
Well, they
fuck Star Wars, man. Star Wars is gay.
Whoa, no. Hold
Yes, no. I'm done with Star Wars after
Modern?
the modern Star Wars. The older ones was good, but it's getting fucked. I can't trust it anymore. All the new shit's worse. It's bad.
Isn't this kind of except Mandalorian? But isn't this kind of
even
Mandalorian with the lore?
Now the Mandalorian, they fucked off like the one good chick in there.
Yep, Gina Carano. Yep, after they fired Gina Carano, that was when I was done. Which by the way, all she said was that the left shouldn't be treating all Trump supporters as Nazis, and then lo and behold, January 6th happened, and she was kind of proven right. So.
Well, they were looking for a reason to get rid of her, and that was the one they used, and she even admits that. But
yeah,
what's annoying me is that you could argue The Last Jedi did fuck with the lore because now Palpatine, spoiler alert, is alive somehow.
I forget I saw that movie because of how unmemorable it was.
Yeah, I know it's pretty forgettable. But now they're fucking with the lore by changing Boba Fett's ship name. When in Star Wars has a ship's name ever been changed? It's like changing the name of your daughter. It's like,
Why
hey,
don't they change him
Gina,
the Death
you're gonna
Star
be.
to the like something else? Whose death is offensive to people who died.
Oh,
That's
Yeah,
true.
it's
Alex,
offensive for kids.
Alex, you joke, but there's already a petition online to fucking change.
Call it
Wait,
just Metal Planet or something.
Oh god,
Moon.
don't give them any ideas because Disney Star Wars will fucking they'll do that. So
See, that's honestly that was like the one thing I thought as a kid. Like Slave One, that went over my head. It's no big deal. But I thought Death Star. That sounds kind of dark for something I'm watching as a kid. Ooh, Death
yeah,
Star. But looking back, obviously it's like
it's
this is nothing. But
well, it's fucking supposed to be like the Death Star is menacing. Like, good.
yeah,
That's the fucking point. It's supposed like you're supposed to be fucking scared of Darth Vader. You're supposed to be, like
yeah, he's the bad guy.
Well, I thought they made him like they try to go make him like deep or something. Some of the newer shit, like I don't know. Like that's what I loved about the fucking Rogue One. Was it Rogue One? The one with the Darth Vader just like fucking shit up. Like I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, that was the best part of that movie is that hallway
Like
scene
that
because
was
you get
actually
to
not.
see
I
Vader
like.
actually be Vader.
I like that fucking movie. Like that was like probably the last Star Wars movie I actually enjoyed.
Yeah, it's the best of the Disney ones, but even that,
I don't think it was bad. I will say,
no,
it was.
it is good, but I think there's one big problem that's gonna age it is that Moff Tarkin shit.
Which I forget about. I mean,
yeah, they CGI'd Peter Cushing's face onto.
I don't even know if they did that. I think there wasn't even like a stand-in. They did that with Luke for the Mandalorian, but they with Moff Tarkin, they just did a complete CGI recreation of him, and he's dead, so they can't. They literally brought him back to life. Was the way he looked like in the 70s, but I remember even in the theaters and looking back now, it doesn't. It does not hold up well. I mean, does it ruin the movie? Technically, no, but for
Dude.
some people, it's just going to be unnoticeable, and it's what you might remember it for. And I enjoyed the movie, don't get me wrong, and I think it was in many ways well done. If they didn't do that, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah. But anyway, well, do we have any other topics to cover tonight, or?
None on my end. Do you guys
Man,
want to say anything else?
I can't think of really anything else. I think we had a pretty good stream. It was like
Awesome.
when it comes, it fucking flows, man. We had 2 guests on today.
Yeah.
Like, holy
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, and this was a good stream for both our channels. So, but.
I loved it. Yeah. I'm going to check the chat, see if anybody said anything else and address it. But yeah, I had a great time. I loved it. That was one of our better streams in a while, if I do say so myself.
I hope that guy comes back on again, man. He was pretty cool to talk to.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to get the libertarianness out of him. But other than that,
Well,
I love him.
I didn't mind Jeff because at least we had someone who's fucking like different. I don't mind having different viewpoints on here.
No, I love it.
Like I like that. Gives us something to fucking do. It's something to debate about.
Yeah. Yeah, like contrary to popular belief, we hate echo chambers.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more good shit like this on @VersaMedia on YouTube. Oh, well, it's not but type in VersaMedia and you'll find us. Find us on Twitter @VersaNewsMedia, but we rarely tweet. Just tweet out the show when it's coming up. So like, share, and subscribe to hear more cool shit like this. And then go over to Sam's shit, and I'll let him plug his shit so I don't mess up the handles.
Yeah. Yes, folks. Thank you for joining us on the Whitfield Report channel as well. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, to the audio podcast. Also subscribe to the Whitfield Report on Odyssey, and I'm going to be I've got the link for my Odyssey channel in the live chat right now. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. From all of us here at NGC Studios, good night, God bless, God save this great nation, God, freedom, legacy in that order, and thanks to Warfist and Fat Kick Boy for donating tonight, and thanks to the entire chat. We'll see
And
you on
follow Phil at Pluffy Phil on Twitter.
Yep,
Fuck.
Phil is back, and sub to the Versa Boys. They deserve it. So, God bless, and
Thank you.
good night, everyone.
Good night, Kings.
See ya. Dude, I forgot fucking Metacritic was streaming today. Holy shit. I
He
mean,
hasn't done that in a long time.
yeah, he had cancer.